As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Holy shit. Holy shit. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Toxic Tuesday. Tonight, we have the most toxic panel yet, and it is loaded with all of the dudes, the greats of the YouTube hemisphere. And we're going to be talking about the great, seminal, absolutely awesomely stellar flick that is Eddie Murphy's 1984 Beverly Hills Cop. And I'm so glad to see many new faces as well, and a lot of familiar faces as well. Brian Barth, Hale, Dragon Master 360, Carries, and Deleted Scenes, aka Steven Nam. What's up? Pat S. What's going on? Jesse Miller. Jesse, get in here. I need you. And I see Jake D. What's up, Jake? I see you there, Mr. Man. Of course, we got the Magnificent in the chat. Just another red shirt, so I'll be back. No pizza? I didn't agree to that. Too much 77. I concur. Nick is cool. Thanks, Punk Waddle. Tekkamon Blade. D Bud Barton. What's up, D Bud? How you doing, man? Hey, D Bud. We're using your pitch from last Friday's comic shop talk for this Friday's comic shop talk. So be prepared for the Ananono Mas. And, of course, the wonderful, the Islington girl, Ella Gabalis. What's up, everyone? All right. Nice to see you. E. Clay Thompson. Yes. What's up, E. Clay Thompson? Nice to meet you. All right. Well, I'm just going to bring in our fine panel of dudes here. This is going to be like a superstar hit of amazingly excellent dudes. So we'll start off with the co-host. The guy who helps keep it real here and make sure that we keep the dudes in line. He is the magnificent one. He is the Mad Martigan.
Thank you. I also make sure that we keep a limited number of females that ever come on the show whatsoever.
What's up, man? How you doing, dude?
What's up, man? I'm doing good.
All right.
Just, living the life of a champion, making memories and shit.
Yes. I like it. I like it a lot. What's up, Mr. Tickle Trunk? No, hey, man, dude, this has been awesome. Like doing this with you.
It's been great. This is one great movie after another. I have a lot of thoughts about this one.
I do too.
Excited to talk about the limited amount of women in it.
You almost made me spit out my beer. Right? You did that on purpose.
No, complete accident.
Oh, shit.
I wasn't watching you go,
Fight?
and I'm like, oh, I got this.
All right. Well, man, as always, I know I say it all the time, but absolutely glad to have you back as co-host.
Great to be back.
Let's kill this panel. This is a really good flick we got going, cooked up in store for these chat. A lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces. Let's get the ball rolling. Returning to Toxic Tuesday as well, who may as well be considered a regular as well, Mr. Mark D with a C.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back, man. This is an awesome movie. I mean, I remember seeing this in the movie theater, and Eddie Murphy was like as big as it gets back then too for you young guys. So he was top of the world. Saturday Night Live was like must see TV. I mean, you didn't miss Saturday Night Live. I was in high school back then, so I mean, just everyone was so excited for this movie. And it was fucking great. So,
well, Mark, thank you for coming on. As always, you've made a lot of time in your life to come on to this panel of toxic greatness, and as always, I appreciate it. We got a few other dudes let in here who are waiting backstage. We got returning as well. That 70s rock fan.
Hey, buddy. Thank you very much for inviting me to this 6-hour roundtable on the adventures of Pluto Nash. I'm looking forward to it very much. I
will be on board.
I have the entire script broken down here, word by word. That'll be fun.
We'll see you next week.
You play like I wouldn't be interested in breaking it down. I would love to break that down.
No, I know. I get it. It's 48 hours we're here to do.
What's up, Pat S? Nice to see you. What's up, Soul Assassin? Soul Assassin says he just happened to be watching Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Well,
how about
stop.
them
It's
apples?
not as good.
What's up, Dave Bob? Just come by, say hi, and give a thumbs up. Appreciate that. All right, and then we got returning. He's been away for a few months. His name is Dustin, but he goes by Brutal, and he has an awesome channel about the way of keto life. Mr. Keto Simple.
Hail, everybody. So glad to be back, man.
It's been a while, dude. I'm
man.
really glad to have you back. So it feels like it's all coming full circle again. Thank you for coming on. And thank you for sending me the text this morning. You're like, dude, I gotta come on for this one. I'm like, and all of a sudden, like, I'm on my break at work. I'm like, well, I gotta let Dustin in on this one. There's no way I'm gonna say no to you.
Brutal.
No,
Love it, man.
no, I would never say no to him. Do you see him? He's intimidating as fuck. No, there's no. I don't want that giant beard tickling my ass cheeks. You know what I mean? Or some other part, whatever.
You do. I
Who knows?
think you do.
It's very toxic.
Dude, it smells great, man.
Very toxic.
You brought it up.
All
Can you
right.
imagine feeling it on the back of your shoulder? Sorry, go on.
All right. Returning to Toxic Tuesday, he goes by a certain catchphrase. It's clobbering times.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me back, man. Great to see you. Look at these great, amazing panelists.
Right?
Mad.
This is all the panel.
Man, I'm glad to see you again, buddy.
I'm glad to see you too, man. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
And look at 70s, man. Look, that dude. I wish in my next life, I want to be him. He has to be me, though. That's straight off.
I'd like to be me in my next life too. But just, I hope there is a next life for me. But, well, thanks, Chloe. I appreciate that, mate.
It was good to see you, buddy. Mark, my great
Yes,
buddy
sir.
Mark gave me the seat, and I'm meeting for the first time. How do we say that again? Pronounce it, my friend, because we've not met before.
Dustin?
Yeah, you can just call me Dustin, man. It's all right.
Dustin, there you go.
He's just like,
That makes me
"Go,
thank
Dustin."
you.
That's the Viking spelling
My
of
pleasure.
Dustin, right there.
All right. And of course, we got returning as well. He is a man of many forms, but we like to call him on YouTube the Nerporial life form.
What's up, everyone? How you doing?
Hey, dude.
Hey,
Hello, sir.
I gotta say before we start, these panelists, they're not just regular panelists.
Here we go.
They're super panelists. I don't know where you get these guys and what you feed them, but jeez.
I almost stole that from you when I came on, but
Yeah,
I was just,
well
watching this movie just now. Just gave me a reason to open my the 3-pack Blu-ray that I got.
Oh,
it's
nice.
It never gets old, dude. Never gets old.
Nice, dude. Hey, Nerporial, thanks for messaging me, man. I'm so glad to have you back on here. It's once again another guy who I can say it's been a bit. So I'm glad to have you back on, and we're gonna get toxic tonight. We're gonna talk some amazing action movie, which got a nice dose of 80s-ness in all its glory, and a little dose of comedy as well. So thank you for coming on. And then we got two more here as of now. We got Mr. Jesse Miller debuting on Toxic Tuesday. Jesse, what's up, man?
Those sons of a bitches unsubscribe me from your channel.
Wow.
Those sons of cunts. Those
Yeah,
sons
right.
of bitches. It's okay. We'll just smack them later. How you doing, Jesse?
Oh, I can't complain, really.
Yeah. Nice to see you, man.
Looks like a white dot behind me.
It
What the fuck is
does.
that?
I don't know what that shit is.
you know what it looks like? So,
It's theatrical light.
It's a laser
Jesse,
targeting sight.
Jesse, I know we've never met,
That
but hear
glory
me
hole
out.
is really high up, man.
Okay, what I do?
Hear me out. So, have you ever been to a strip club where like there's like glass that comes down and like the chick dances on the other part?
I've been to a
where
strip club post-COVID, and they had up a sneeze guard.
Well, you look like you're in that prison thing that they keep strippers in.
Really?
Yeah. All you're
Although I
missing
don't
is
want
the
any
pole.
strippers to know where I live.
So the question is, what did you do with the strippers, Jesse? Because where are they? Where are they now?
Well, I got
All right.
a drain in the floor over there, so you
That's
never know.
Oh shit! I see your Muslim uncle. It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs, Lasso of Truth, Another Monster. Hello to LDG of Geeks and Joy. What's up? All right. Last but certainly not least, a man who is
Debatable.
very instrumental. I've been up all day on getting this panel around and spreading it like a fine whore. And he is a man of Kermit the Frog voice to also Goodwill William Shatner voice. What's up, David Sura? Mr. Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge at the Dock.
How's everybody doing?
What's up, bud?
Hey.
Here to talk some
Tom.
Beverly Hills Cop. How's everybody?
Dude, I feel good, man. How you doing?
I'll be honest. I'm more interested in the Saw type room that Jesse is in. Like, I haven't got an answer for this yet.
He was avoiding it. But, yeah.
It's my basement, man. I'm gonna put a computer
That's what
desk
they all
over
say.
there. I got DVDs all over the floor, and then these are 2 Halloween things I got to put outside. They blow up. They're cool.
Glorious.
Last time we saw that, it was in Dexter.
Maybe. Keep pushing me, world.
Oh, fuck.
I already know people that could find people. I might as well. Really. I've seen all them shows. I know how to get around.
It's really hard to out scary Dave. Dustin.
Oh.
See, oh God, now I'm scared already. But like you in that room is a close second to the intimidation of Dustin. Jesus, I feel nervous as being like, this close to him.
Just don't ask for any lotion, please.
No, I do got to paint this room though, because like you can't really tell because I've colored lights on, but whoever lived here was a patriot because these are the actual blue, red, and white from the American flag, but it looks gaudy in here.
Ooh.
Gotta paint it. Gotta paint it.
Excellent.
Oh, shit. Mr. Deleted Scenes, a.k.a. Steven Naughton, sent me $3.99. Says, Hail, Nick Weiser, Mad, Mark, 70s Rock Fan, Baruta, Kalabi, Nerpoil, Jesse, Tom, and Chad. And a hail to you, sir. Thank you, as always, for joining us on Toxic Tuesday. I appreciate it, and thank you always for your endless support to the channel. Well, guys, I guess let's hit it right to it. I'm going to start off with Mr. Tom. Tom, why don't you tell us about your first time seeing this movie? The when, the wheres, the hows, the whole spiel. Tell us about your first initial Beverly Hills Cop experience. He's alive. No.
Who did you ask?
Tom.
Oh, thank God. I was like, oh, wait, was I supposed to be talking? I was not paying attention.
Tom's asleep already.
Glad you could be here, Tom. Always a pleasure.
Well, thanks for promoting the page, Tom. I guess we let Tom get settled. We'll let Mad Martigan go.
Oh, the first time I've seen this? Well,
yes.
unlike some people, I was not in high school when this came out. I wasn't born. But I mean, I have no. This is another one of those movies. I have no idea when I saw it, but I know I've seen it multiple times over the years. It wasn't in my regular rotation, like with Lone Wolf McQuade and Temple of Doom. You know what I mean? It wasn't or Rocky 4.
Yeah.
It wasn't in that rotation, but I've seen it multiple times, and whenever it's on TV, not on TNT, I'm not gonna waste my time, but whenever it was on HBO, whatever, I would always stop and watch it wherever we were in, as far along as we were in the movie. But yeah, so I don't
Actually,
have
it's
any
interesting. The TV
memory.
version of this movie.
There he is.
The interesting thing of this, sorry, I had to go deal with something quick.
No,
you missed your chance, Tom. It's past. There's 9 of us. You gotta wait till it comes round again.
It's like a football draft, yeah.
I was just going to say about the TV version of Beverly Hills Cop, which is funny, is it's comprised of mostly alternate takes because there was no way they could edit the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Dude, that's wild, man. My mind is blown.
90% of the movie is all alternate takes.
Wow. It's not better though, right?
It's just they couldn't get away with him saying the F word every other sentence and editing it.
Oh, I know.
So they just basically had him do a version where it's where he's like, "Tell me something. Come on, fellas, tell me shit. Talk to me. Tell me something." He's like, "Come on, fellas, give me something here. Talk to me." It just did a version like that instead.
So they did it when they were filming the movie. They planned for that. They planned
absolutely.
for it.
Yeah, but wasn't there a couple of parts where it was just really noticeable and terrible? Because I'm remembering.
It's not the same energy in some scenes, and it's of course you don't get the same impact. Of course, when he's using the F word and certain things, and of course the strip club, the girls have bras on and shit or whatever. So yeah,
they reshot that whole thing twice just to hide some beautiful titties.
Yep.
Yeah, they used to do that kind of stuff with movies all the time back then. Some of them they would actually just dub over curse words, and then they started doing alternate films and scenes in a lot of films.
So there was more swearing in this? Really? I gotta see this ultra. I have to see the script now.
No less.
Right. My mind is blown. We've all seen a watered down version. So
Between this movie and my dad, I mean, that's where I got the F word. That's where I first learned the F word. This movie and my dad.
My dad beat him for that a long time ago.
Well, so there was a lot of improv in this, like a lot of the interaction between the cops. Certainly, like that's how they were hired. Was them coming in? And they're like, all right, you're an old married couple, go, and seeing how they did, and that's how they got.
Ooh, you're eating too much red meat,
dude.
That's stays in your intestines for 5 years.
Nice.
I think he's an Eddie.
And I've got the 4K one somewhere. I don't know where it went. I used to have the foreign version of.
Why would you have a foreign?
I got a feeling the UK
version didn't
version
come out till like last year.
Yeah, the UK version had more swearing in it.
Did they ever release Delirious and Raw on Blu-ray?
Just Delirious and Raw are only on DVD so far.
Oh, they're only on DVD. Okay, I gotta get those.
All right. So Matt, carry on. You're talking about your initial experience with Beverly Hills. Where you seen it, at least to your memory. I don't think you got to finish up.
No, I did. Like, I was gonna move on to some of these.
These crazy. Well, we'll let Tom go then. Tom, tell us about your first time then.
Well, I was about 16 and it was at my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
Her mom and her parents were gone, and shit happens.
Oh, shit does happen.
Then you watch Beverly Hills Cop.
She left, and then her mom stayed, and then things happened.
Things got a little weird.
So whenever you hear like Axel F or whatever, like you kind of get like a little chub, just a little one, just like.
Well, my introduction to the movie was actually through the soundtrack, because I was only 4 years old when it came out, and that soundtrack was everywhere. And
and it's so damn catchy.
I have. Not only do I have it on CD, of course.
He's got some stuff to show up.
Vinyl.
Old school.
I have the alternate version. See, there was 2 different versions that were released. And,
Tom, you got a problem.
Nice.
No, well, see, here's the thing. This one here has a song by Rick James, as you can see, and this one does not. They changed that. The movie did not contain the song by Rick James, but Eddie was adamant that the soundtrack contained the song, and at the last minute they changed it. So there's still some versions out there that instead of, I can't remember which song it was switched out instead.
Wow.
Now,
I think half the songs on that album were not even in the movie.
Actually, most of them were.
There was a Danny Elfman song I know for a fact wasn't in the movie.
So I got to be rude, Tom. How many extra hundreds of dollars did you pay for that Rick James song?
Nothing, not that much. Like $20. People didn't know what they had.
Wow.
Isn't it funny how that happens when you don't know like the value of what you have, so you just sell off for some price? I've seen that happen when you get in like the hidden treasures bins at like some place like disc replay equivalents. Are like, dude, what? Do you guys realize what you're selling here? Do you not realize?
I took my son to a mom and pop comic convention, and when you go there, every kid gets a free comic. So I just flipped through the comics they had, and they had the comic that was directly after when Bane broke Batman's back, and he's just laying there in a hospital bed crying about it. I was like, "This is free? Are you sure?" Right. They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right."
Well, so I actually saw the movie on video because my dad at the time worked for a company, and they would let their employees bring movies home early. So like for years, I didn't know movies would come in these plastic cases when you rented them. When my dad would bring them home, he'd literally bring home a stack of movies that were still in plastic in the case, in the original covers and everything. So like growing up for me, it was So for me, it was like I was always had those boxes to look at while I was watching the movies and stuff like that. And I just remember that being one of the movies, and I just begged him to let me watch it because I remember the soundtrack being something I loved. Like, I don't know, because they really hadn't let me watch too many R-rated movies yet at that point. But they let me watch it, and I ended up loving it. And it was one of those movies that I, loved growing up ever since. The second one I remember coming out was a big deal. I remember one year though, I watched the movie like one entire summer every day, at least once, if not more than once a day. for some reason, it just was that movie of that summer. I just picked it. And
Did that
so
with
I know
Top
it by
Gun.
heart.
So you had any like free movies to choose from, but you watched this over and over.
Yeah, I did that with
I
Top
just, for
Gun
some
and
reason,
Tombstone.
And then I remember seeing
Yeah, this
Beverly
was
Hills
his
Cop 3.
Tombstone.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the theater when it came out. Me and my buddy were the only ones in the theater.
Good,
Which is
good.
sad. But yeah, it was an experience, I guess. So I'm pessimistically optimistic, I guess, for part 4. But no, the first
Is
one
that
is-
official?
They're still making
Yes.
that.
Yes.
They've
Yeah,
been
they're
making
making
that
it,
for
yeah.
like 15
There's a
years
part
now.
4 coming. Netflix has it coming. They're doing part 4 and they have option to part 5.
Yeah,
They're
but
bringing
is that going to
anybody
be like
back?
Coming to America?
It might end up like Coming to America, unfortunately.
That sounds about right. All right.
But yeah,
I'll
so
read-
no, the first movie is one of my favorite movies of all times. End of story.
No, right?
Yeah.
No, rightfully so. It's. I was gonna say my opinions, but I should save it. But all right, before I do, and Tom, before I have Tom carry on, the Islington girl for $3 says, "So you too can do the Neutron dance with some pizza." Man, I want to right now so bad. And then Mr. Gregory for $1 says, "Great stream for a great movie. Just wish the panel wasn't so small. Hail Lemmy's Ghosts. We'll catch the stream on the replay." Well, thank you, Mr. Grant Gregory. And also welcome to Toxic Tuesday for his very first time, Mr. George, the Giant Slayer.
Hello, everyone. How you doing tonight? Thank you.
Hello. Hey,
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
we're
Really
good,
good,
man.
Pretty good.
Hey.
So, we reviewing Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yes.
Yes.
What's crazy?
Don't you
about
know
it-
those acts took 5 hours.
But ironically, it's one of Eddie Murphy's best movies in the '90s. Go figure.
Yeah, I thought it was Norbit. Was it Norbit or Dr. Doolittle?
Oh god.
Professor.
What's up, Six?
What's up,
How
man?
you doing?
Hey, Six.
Nice to see you here. And then Brian Bart says,
If I spend
whatever
less money on
happened?
media,
Whatever happened to Eddie Murphy? He used to be funny. Did he sell out? Ooh.
No, he just stopped. He had a family.
Yeah.
He got
he
in
just-
a ton of trouble.
there's a bunch of answers going around.
he's yeah.
He was pulled over.
He went suburban. He went Hollywood suburban. You know, he had a family, and the funny fell out of him. Jesus, I can't believe they're going to make another one. What is it going to be? Him in a stroller?
I don't even. Good question.
Well, you know, there's an unaired pilot for a Beverly Hills Cop TV show.
I heard about that. I didn't know if that was true.
He is
Dude.
in it. It was about his son. His son was going to be the main star. Yeah.
Mhm.
He was.
As
I
long
heard
as it
about that.
maintains its edge
Not his
from
daughter.
the first one, that would be great.
Nope. CBS didn't
Lemons.
pick it up though.
Oh, why?
I have no idea.
Just CBS.
I wish they would release the pilots in some format so we could see them, you know, for every show. I'd
You know,
love
there
see
used to
the
be I can't remember the channel that would do it, but they had like a show where they would do that, where they would show unaired pilots. And that's how like all these other pilots got out there, like the Clerks pilot for the
Right.
sitcom and shit like that. And I can't remember what channel it was on, but like they used to do that.
I think with Eddie Murphy, like if you give him the right material, he still is very funny. Dolomite Is My Name is like, not as good as the original at all, but it's still very funny. And I thought he did a great job in that movie. In Tower Heist, it was a while back. It was 2011. I actually just watched it today, and he was really good in it. I really liked that movie. Brett Ratner directed.
He was on.
I meant to watch that movie and I totally forgot about that film.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
He was
It's
supposed to be the
decent.
director for Beverly Hills Cop 4 for the longest time. So
Yes, he was. Yes.
And then
Yeah.
Tower Heist. I remember seeing Tower Heist. I think, if I remember correctly, Eddie Murphy was barely in the movie. He was only in like 2 scenes.
No, he's in it, but he's not.
He's in it. Yeah, he's not
Ben
the
Stiller's
focus.
more the main star, though. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What's the one called, Tom, where he was with Richard Pryor? Harlem's or something?
Harlem
like-
Nights.
Harlem
Harlem
Nights.
Nights, yeah.
Harlem Nights.
Yeah, that was one of
That and
them.
Red Fox.
Go off.
All three of them.
It's got some good bits in it, but the movie itself was not great.
I don't know. I mean, Eddie did a great dramatic job in Mr. Church. I mean, that was a great acting.
That's
role
one
that
of
he
his I
had.
surprisingly have not seen yet, but I've wanted
It's
to. It's been on my
really
list.
good. He is extremely good in it. I mean, it's a drama, but he's
Isn't that a recent
fantastic.
one? That's a more
Yeah,
recent
it's
one,
only
right?
about 5 years old, I think.
But I think Steven in the chat is right. Why are we not talking about best defense? I mean, that is clearly his best.
That'll
movie
have to
ever.
be a Toxic Tuesday panel
No,
down
that
the
is one of
line.
His best
worst
defense
movies.
was after
That's
he
a
got
Dudley
caught.
Moore movie.
The best
Again, he was
defense he
only-
ever had was that Paramount never released it
He was
again.
only in about 10 minutes of that.
I think
Tom,
it's actually been on DVD, actually, but yeah.
did you have anything else you want to add to your original
Oh no,
initial
I'm taking
thoughts?
over too much already.
No, dude. I invited you for the takeover. You brought the party, so that's why I thought I'd ask. Because otherwise, I'm going to switch on over to Mr. Jesse Miller. Jesse, the floor is yours. Why don't you tell us about your first time experience with this
honestly,
movie?
I couldn't tell you. You know why? Because this is one of those movies that used to be on TV all the time. And the first time I saw Act the Fool, it was the strip club scene. So that was on normal TV.
Oh,
so
how
it was obviously
toxic
that
of
version.
you. How toxic.
Yeah, I thought he was incredibly clever. His street smarts made him so enjoyable, along with his charisma and his personality. It was obviously a star. I had to go back and find the movie, and I found out there were sequels. So I was like, cool.
There you go.
I think it's very obvious, especially in the beginning, that he's playing somebody else's movie. Like you can tell this was not written with him in mind. Does that make sense? Like,
yes and no.
Oh, yeah, I did some of it. Yeah.
Yes and no, because you got to remember he just come off of like 48
Right.
hours right after this, so it has a very similar tone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think he did Trading Places right before this, I believe.
Yeah, well, that was in between, but yeah.
I think as the movie like progresses, it definitely is his when you know what I mean. But like his best friend, I'm like, who is this white guy? How do they know each other? Why is he friends with so many white people in Detroit? Like this is not the Detroit I know.
Because we take too much time to recast the movie.
I can believe that.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I
what I
love this
mean.
captain.
That's what I mean by it. Oh, Captain's great. He
That guy was
is
a real cop, by the way. That guy
Yeah, he is.
an
Oh, was
actual
he?
cop. Yeah.
Or he was. Yeah, he sadly passed away not too long ago.
Oh,
I like which one was it? Number 3, where he passes away and
Where they
his
actually
last
get
word
shot,
is,
yeah.
Get that son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I love
I think I was a real
Something.
cop. Did you know that? Gil
Yes, it
Hill was a
was.
real cop in
And
Detroit.
he ended up becoming the mayor of Detroit too.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, I love that scene in part 3. He's like, what did he say? Actually, he said his final words were, "Tell my wife I love her." That's not true. He's like, yeah,
Don't
you're
worry,
right.
boss.
Go
Don't
get
worry.
that son of a bitch.
Don't worry,
That
boss.
shit was real. His wife knew him.
Don't worry, boss. You got a little ass left. Don't fuck with me, Axel.
Don't fuck with me, Axel. Not today.
I just saw Nerdporio. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Well, we haven't been on a stream together. This is fun.
Now, what a good time for an Eddie Murphy flick. Then see,
No, it is.
the
Mad-
toxicity brings us together.
Absolutely, Mads. Hello, how you doing? Everyone, I haven't met everyone. 70s, of course. I know.
We've
meet
met.
you. Hello,
We've met, George. We've been on several streams together.
No, I said I met you. Oh, you I met. I said everyone else besides 70s and Tom. Nerd, I know. How are y'all doing? So what do y'all think? Did anyone here actually watch in the movie theater besides me and Tom and 70s?
Oh, I watched
I
that
did.
thing recently. Yeah.
I was 22 years old, so
Yeah,
saw
I
the
had
thing.
to sneak in. I had to sneak in. Yeah, it was pretty good.
That movie came out. I was only 2 weeks old.
I wasn't born.
Did you
We'll
enjoy
let
it
this be
though?
our segue for 70s. 70s, why don't you talk about your initial experience
Yeah.
with this
Yeah,
flick?
well,
You took
as
your
I say, I was-
grandkids?
I've got grandkids.
You took them to
No,
go see it.
I just want to be clear though. I wasn't fortunate enough to get to see the first 2 in the
It's
theaters.
the sort of movie I forced my children to watch when they were. So you watch
because
this
you're a
and learn.
good dad.
You'll learn.
How you deal with
You know,
adverse
I did the
situations.
same thing with my son. I was like, watch this. You're going to enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
great.
My
So,
favorite
yeah, it
was
was-
the interaction between Taggart and oh my god, I just forgot his name. The one played by
Billy Rosewood and Taggart.
Rosewood,
Yeah, Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold. What the hell happened to him?
That's good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
what-
I was,
I mean,
I
sorry,
was
I didn't even
22
know
when
the
I
He
ladies
saw it.
became a real
sequel.
judge, just like his mama always wanted.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, 70. Sorry, it
No,
fades
that's
out
all
for a
right.
second.
Go for it, man. Yeah, so I did see it in the cinema, and it was released about a month later in the UK, as things were in those days. There was no simultaneous releases worldwide. So we'd kind of heard the buzz on it, and it was like, well, this is going to be good. Simpson and Bruckheimer, of course. That was words to get any 22-year-old
Oh
guy
yeah,
aroused.
it
you know,
was.
the mark of quality. The mark. We know this is going to be good. It's going to have explosions.
Don't be embarrassed by that 70s.
I'm not. Obviously.
No, but he was coming off a string of hits. Remember, 48 hours, Trading Places.
Yeah, well, he was kind of setting himself up as an action guy in a little bit. But I remember as a young Scotsman watching this in the cinema and thinking how exotic Detroit looked.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I thought, what a beautiful
still looks
city.
like that too.
And having been there many times since, I was never in America then. I thought it looks just the same. I recognize this, and I think it's the same people in the street.
I'm sure in the 23rd century it'll still look the same.
You have to admire their commitment to garbage.
That's right. Yeah. apparently, the filming in Detroit, the crew and cast were escorted by the police, but there were areas the police would refuse to go into. So they just went on and filmed, and they were okay, but the police said, "Oh, we're not going in there." No way.
Yeah, they weren't even able to actually finish shooting the scene where Mikey gets killed.
Oh, really?
True.
Oh,
yeah, they got chased out of the building by residents. Yeah,
that's right.
They didn't get to film the reversal shot of Eddie on the floor.
Oh my god!
Oh, what?
So it's interesting you mentioned earlier about the swearing, but this I thought, is this really a toxic movie? And then I thought a little harder about it. I thought this was an R-rated movie.
Yeah,
one of the biggest grossing ones ever. And in fact, although in the UK it was rated 15, but then again we had I don't think they cut all the swearing out in the UK. I don't recall that. So having seen it in various formats over here since. In North America, I'm pretty sure we got the full unedited. If you fuck you,
Well, and it helps that you guys aren't so worried about breasts and shit.
Breasts.
No, we didn't have any of that cut out. So Simpson Bruckheimer, the mark of quality.
Every time we'd go to Europe, that would be the first thing my mom or my family would do. They'd be like, pull the TV out of the room. Like, no.
we just claimed it was art, George. It's art.
Oh, I agree with you.
I was in Europe. Yeah, I was like, Mom, why are there naked girls on the TV?
Yeah.
They got to eat too, honey.
That's just an orange juice commercial. Don't worry about it.
It's orange juice.
Yeah. It was over in the 80s. There was a Coke commercial, a Diet Coke, with a girl that was topless. I kept trying to smuggle it back to show all the guys at Catholic school, but that didn't make it back to the classroom. Yeah.
And people wonder why they almost lost World War II. Thank God the Puritans of America came over and stopped all this bullshit.
It's funny that orange juice came up, because does anybody know the real reason why Sylvester Stallone supposedly left this movie?
No.
Orange juice?
Us.
It had something to do with orange juice. Yes, you are correct.
No, what?
Come on.
Yes. According to Martin Brest, the director, they got into an argument over the brand of orange juice that was in his fucking trailer.
No way.
Oh, wow.
You're not kidding. You're being
I
serious.
shit you not.
Oh,
Did
wow.
Stallone insist on Orange Julius?
Wow.
I don't know. He probably wanted Minute Maid, and it was some off-brand. Who knows?
This reminds me of a scene from a film I just saw. God, I got to remember the name, where it showed, I think it was David Lee Roth was in the film, and they were talking about the type of Skittles. He's like only red, or it was another rock star.
It was only brown M&Ms.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell?
Oh my
God.
So there's a good point they're making in the chat. This movie is so toxic, it was directed by a guy called Breast.
Yeah, like no Sonny D. I quit.
This movie would not have been as good with Stallone in it.
All right, hold on. Before I have some of these continue.
So that what leads to this actually.
I'm done. I've got more later.
Oh, okay. Brian Barth, we did a Toxic Tuesday panel on this exact flick, Cobra.
Yeah, Cobra.
We had a ball doing that flick. So I am the
What a movie.
What a flick. All right. Well, you know what?
It was badass in that shit. That was
Had a whole music video. Had a whole music video in the middle of it for no fucking reason.
Yeah, so the short version of that is, and then after the blow up, Sly took all his ideas that he had brought to the table and changed Beverly Hills Cop. into one of his vehicles. So he took all his new ideas and he took them over to Cobra. Because he had changed Axel's name to Axel Cobretti and all this other shit. And
Cobretti, man.
So all the cast around the cast.
I did all this coke. It seemed like
I bet in Stallone's version he got to kiss the girl. I bet he got to kiss the girl in Stallone's version.
Well, the original script is out there. I've not been able to find it yet, but I do know a few things about it. But like, here's the thing: is so like when Sly came in, they totally overhauled the script for him, and the cast that Eddie has was cast for Sylvester Stallone's movie.
Oh, okay.
So everybody in that cast, and in fact, Billy Rosewood was supposed to die midway through.
Wow.
Makes sense. Makes sense for Stallone movie, do that.
It was more of a straightforward action flick.
Yeah, it was more of a straightforward action movie, but then Sly came in and overhauled it. But then after he left, they went back to the original script, brought in Eddie Murphy because he was one of their original choices. Because they wanted somebody like Eddie Murphy. They had asked Harrison Ford and a few other people at that time. He was coming off of Indiana Jones and Star Wars, so he was kind of a snarky guy too at that point. And the drafts of the script went through various drafts, that I know. But the whole like idea of it started when the writer Daniel Petrie Jr. got pulled over in Beverly Hills, and the two officers that pulled him over were like, basically, let me put it this way: they would be what those people in Germany would have loved to have envisioned as a perfect world of people, like blonde haired, blue eyed, 6 feet tall, perfect cops. And he's like, they were the most well-behaved, all this shit. Like, he'd never seen cops like that before.
I bet they had their actors' union cards too.
Maybe.
And the patrol cars
so
really
he's like,
clean, right?
like, what would happen if like somebody from Detroit, some like streetwise cop, showed up here, where these cops are all by the book and all this business and and that's kind of like just where it kind of snowballed from there. But yeah.
No, it's made for a great story, the way it plays out. Having Murphy be this chaotic guy who talks his way around things like Lando Calrissian style. And he works around these guys who are super by the book. It's perfect.
Well, I love because, basically you have your fish out of water story, but I love that they went at it from a different a different angle. Normally what you would have is like this Detroit cop come and work for this new police department and try to learn their ways of the way they do things, and he changes it for the good. But I like that they took a completely different angle with the way that they told this story specifically.
Well, that was the original story, was a cop who got transferred to Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And now, so that was the original Colonel, but then it changed because it turns out like the original script, it was some stupid technicality because he was an LA cop getting transferred to Beverly Hills, and I guess since they're not two technically separate districts, that wouldn't happen. So like it was a stupid thing. Yeah, like it was just a stupid thing. So they changed it to where he just comes from a completely different town and he's only there. Like that's when the story changed into what it was now. But I mean, there's still a few variations, but the original script compared to what the Eddie Murphy version is, outside of the improvisations, is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
How much was improv, do you think?
A lot of the interactions between Judge and what's his name were
John Ashton.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff between John Ashton and Judge
Reinhold was totally I mean, they were freaking laughing. Like John Ashton was literally covering his face while Eddie Murphy was just like improvising the whole super
Judge Reinhold said he had to pinch his leg to stop himself from laughing.
Yeah, like they were dying. They were moving around. You could just tell they were freaking dying. Like they oof.
Well, what happened in that scene was it was a late night, and Eddie at that time was straight edge as fuck.
Oh
wow!
You gotta remember
he had done Raw. Remember?
Well, he stayed clean through his early years. Like he never drank coffee, he never drank alcohol, he never smoked, he never did any of that stuff because he was.
I never knew that.
He was only 18 when he started on SNL, so he had to stay clean.
Wow.
Otherwise, they'd ended up like Belushi.
Like it. Well, not just that. If he got busted, he's underage.
Right.
So they had that kind of a problem. So like he kind of got used to that, and so when he would work, he was like, I never wanted anything to influence my work. Well, it got late one night and he, against what he normally does, he's like, all right, I'll drink some coffee. Well, somebody brought him some coffee, and this is the first time he'd ever had coffee, I guess.
Wow.
So that's where the super cop scene came from, was his first interaction with that much.
Wow.
And he was just like, holy shit, I was up for the rest of the night. He said, it was like,
imagine if he gave him something real.
It must have
explains why his eyes were wide open.
Must have
whole
taken a
scene.
titanic amount of self-control in 80s Hollywood
Oh
to
yeah.
stay
Well, it's
completely
funny you
clean.
mentioned Belushi.
yeah.
That was one of the reasons why he knew, like, he saw that kind of shit happening as he was coming in, so he like
Right.
stayed away from it, a lot of it, and stuff like that. I mean, now I think he has smoked weed and some other things that he's commented on, but like he's tried alcohol obviously since then. But
Oh yeah,
you know,
he's
it's
definitely
just-
gotten
but
drunk.
when he was that young, because you guys got to remember, he was only 20.
He's like 22, 23.
21 or 2, yeah, when he shot Beverly Hills Cop. He was still really young. Like
That's
people forget
insane.
how young he was when he got started. So
Well, wait a minute. Then when did he do Raw right after Beverly Hills? Because I remember seeing
Raw
that.
was 87. That was the year right after.
It was Delirious, I think, was the earlier one.
Delirious
Oh,
was one just before.
Yep.
I thought he started doing drugs when he started recording albums. Remember when he started singing?
He may have. I don't know how many.
I
I don't know if he ever really did anything major because he always was pretty straight edge, but
Yeah, he didn't party all the time before.
not all the
Yeah,
time.
definitely not all the time.
I'm sure he had to have done
Movies
some
have
cocaine
some
with Rick
drugs,
James.
but-
Like you don't hang out with Rick
Rick
James, and
James,
try,
yeah.
not try.
Right. All right.
Fuck your couch.
Oh,
All right. Clobbering Times. Why don't you tell us about your initial experience? And if you want, just go on about how much you just love this movie in general.
Well,
Or
first I want
hate
to
it.
thank. I want to. Well, yeah, you never know. I want to thank 70s for being some older than me. Finally, I'm not the oldest one on one of these panels. Thank you. Only by a sliver.
It's
In
all I
1980
can do these days. It's the
Thank
only
you,
skill
buddy.
I have.
I appreciate you, buddy, for that. 1984, I lived at the cinema and the theaters, and there was so many great films. I was 20 years old, and that's all
year
it did.
for movies, man.
Unreal. It was amazing. And this one, I must have gone. It had to be close to 10 times. I just loved it that much. And it was around like not too long after that, I got to see Eddie Murphy perform live. So I was a huge Eddie Murphy fanatic. And I'm probably after seeing it in the theater so many times, as soon as it was out available on the cable or in VHS, remember that and all that stuff. I can't even remember how many times I've seen it, but it is one of the most enjoyable, one of the most quotable films of that time. And in '84, it was up against a lot of competition too. And I don't know if I know it wasn't number one, but it had to be close. Being an R-rated film, it had to get it. Just
It was the
about
biggest
level.
R-rated film of all time until Passion of the Christ, I think.
Oh,
Really?
Wow, that
Yeah,
big?
yeah,
I knew it was a
really.
big deal back in
It was
I knew it was a big
Paramount's
deal, but
highest
that big of a
movie.
deal?
It was
What was
Paramount-
Schindler's List rated? PG-13?
PG-13.
Yeah.
It was Paramount's highest grossing movie until Forrest Gump, I want to say.
Yeah, in the days when Paramount made entertainment worth watching.
Yeah.
The budget
Yeah.
was
That's
13.
Eddie Murphy was the god of Paramount Lot.
Oh,
Like,
back
he
then,
had-
yeah.
He had his own office. He had his own fucking army of golf carts and shit. Like he was notorious for him and his buddies buzzing around the lot on golf carts and having races and shit.
Nothing wrong
But
with
he could
that.
do whatever the fuck he wanted because he was Eddie Murphy and he wrote the checks for that studio in the 80s. Like every major hit they had outside of Top Gun and Star Trek was an Eddie Murphy movie. So,
And he almost
Yes,
made it
and then
into Star
and
Trek
he was
4
almost
too, right?
in
Yeah.
Star Trek. Yeah,
and he was almost in Star Trek 4. You're right. Yes.
Another fish out of water
As?
type story.
but he was going to play
Yeah.
a cop. There was a
in
cop.
Star
who was gonna-
Trek 4.
Yeah. And they cut
Were
the
they
character
trying to
out.
link the universes?
No, what happened was that he was going to be, instead of the two garbage men witnessing them landing, it was
Mhm.
supposed to be this cop, and it
Mhm.
would be Eddie Murphy's character. So he would spend the whole movie trying to convince people that there's people from outer space. They're here. They're here. They're here to get us. You know,
Yeah,
all
I
that
would
shit.
have liked it
Like,
if he
yeah, it was
was
supposed to be another
Axel
little bit on
Foley.
the side.
Because if he was Axel Foley, like you'd have that universe and
A
then,
crossover.
Yeah, that's another thing, though.
But yeah,
I
it was a
can't
part
Yes.
specifically, I believe, written for him. Where it was supposed to be just a side character where he has this whole bit where nobody will believe him that men are from space and they're here to get us and some shit like
I remembered your thing. In part 3, he cucks out George Lucas. So if he played in Star Trek as Axel, then they had George Lucas in part 3. That would be a nice.
George Lucas. I forgot about that.
You know, Tom, how you were
Hey,
talking.
that's his only line.
Tom,
Hey,
you talk about the music and stuff. I remember back then, just riding around listening to FM radio, Axel F. An instrument with no lyrics was constantly on the air all the time. It was huge.
Outside of Shaft, I mean, when did that happen? Up until that in Miami Vice, like Wham Bam.
I can name you one other one. the Rockford Files thing. The Rockford Files thing.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a
wow.
I'm talking about an instrumental non-lyric.
Yeah, Shaft, you can
something.
kind of
On the radio
Shaft,
all the time.
has lyrics, but it doesn't. It's like
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it does.
It
Yeah.
doesn't happen that often. Yeah.
Doesn't
No,
happen
not at all.
That song
It
was
was on
everywhere.
radio.
And I
all the
think
time.
it hit number 2.
Harold
Didn't it?
Faltermeyer is the quintessential 80s soundtrack guy.
Well,
I
what's
agree.
sucks is I was supposed to
Totally agree.
interview him, and we couldn't figure out the technical problem, and I never got back to it. But yeah,
Oh, man.
What? Dude. Seriously.
yeah,
Wow.
people couldn't figure out the tech problem, so we couldn't get him in. It was for we were doing a Running Man screening with the
The
in Search
Running
of
Man.
Tomorrow, and
Yeah.
and they're like, don't ask him a bunch of Beverly Hills Cop questions.
Oh, that's great.
You only have to hear those notes that dun, 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 and you know exactly
I've been hearing
where it's
that all
from.
day, yeah.
It's
Oh my
just
god!
incredible.
In elementary school, my friend Andrew, he started playing piano, and that's the only thing he learned.
It's the only thing
Played
you
that
need to know.
constantly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
People learn either that or the Halloween theme, right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Mike Oldfield's, that they used in The Exorcist.
No, I knew someone would mention that.
Man, Tubular Bells, yeah.
I always,
wait a
thought the
minute.
Omen, I always thought the Omen theme for Damien, whenever he'd come around, that was more infectious.
Do not care for that.
Carl
Ugh.
ripped that off.
All right. This is totally worth breaking, even though it's off topic. It's totally worth breaking. I had to say, there's no way this line in The Running Man was scripted. You don't just write this on script like, yeah, that's what you should say. Sub-Zero now playing Zero. That's it. That's the line.
That doesn't
You
make
don't- You don't
sense.
script that shit. Well, yeah, technically it's an upgrade if you think about it, because you went
It
from
is.
negative to a positive. But there's no way that line was scripted. That came out, they're like, okay, you know what? Just let him have his moment saying that cheesy
Right.
line, and we're
I
not going to
only
even
know
mess
so
with
many
it.
words.
You know, you're probably right, Nick, because
Uh-huh.
Arnie was notorious for he had to have his little quips,
Cheesy one-liners.
but he didn't understand colloquials real well.
Colloquials.
And like he did not want to say "I'll be back." He
Now,
refused to say
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
He
yeah.
got to do
Now-
like a big old fight with James Cameron. He's like, "I'm not going to say it. Only a girl would say something like that."
Now, colloquial, that's what a bird poops and pisses out of.
That's a cloaca.
But
Oh,
back
wow.
to Beverly, do we get
That's a
Oh.
real intellectual joke for you,
I
right
think
there.
there's a couple people we haven't got to hear how they first got to see it.
Yeah,
Indeed.
we'll get to that. And D-Bud, yes, we did do that. That was a great panel. We had Comics Division on for that one. That was a blast. And Bryce Day, logic is not a thing on Toxic Tuesday. I don't know how we got there, but we'll stop that shit. Anyways, for another one of our fine toxic males here, we're gonna let Mr. Dustin have his floor at the show go.
I don't know because I was born in '79, so I wasn't old enough to see it when it came out in '84. I was 5.
Yes.
That's how old I was when I saw it, man.
Well, I don't remember like the first time I saw it. I know that we had it on VHS. We had Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 on VHS, and my
Uh-huh.
brother would watch them all the time. So I don't exactly remember like the first time. Like I remember watching Predator, but I just remember like seeing Detroit, that scene in the truck where he's like just grabbed on the chain and they're like demolishing like 300 cars.
Mhm.
Oh, it
And I'm
definitely
like-
had that Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer
Well,
opening.
that opening scene is amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, right. Oh, so good. Go on, Dustin.
Yeah, I'm just like, holy shit, like it's Detroit, no one even notices. You know what I mean? Like here just comes all these cars. And like now I go back and I watch it, I'm like, look how heavy all these cars are. Like that, was it like a VW Beetle that got like hit, then like 4 cop cars like skidded into it? I'm like,
Yep.
that dude would have died.
Yeah, you've been killed the shit out of him.
Oh man, there was so many like, they died. And they were like, you know how much you cost the city? The city has no money. If the city had
Yeah, it don't
money, it
matter.
wouldn't look like that.
They gotta fix it.
Especially,
Whoa.
Fuck, did you get a truckload of cigarettes from him anyhow?
especially
You
Detroit, considering who was running it.
$5,000 for a truckload of cigarettes. How much would that shit be today?
God,
Like $1 million truck.
Yeah.
15 at least.
Even if you cut the packs in half for price to move them, I mean, shit, that would still be
From the deal boy and hijack. The deal boy and
$7
hijack. That fucking bus went
$6
down
a
last week.
pack.
Sweet.
Mm.
It was full of what? Lucky Strikes and Pall Mall, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta tell you, unfiltered cigarettes are the best with a good slice.
Oh yeah, I would know.
I had a lady, an older lady, one time tell me that she smoked unfiltered cigarettes because she didn't want a tampon in her mouth.
Oh,
And you hit it.
That's federal tax stamp. You can't get no
By the way, I expected to see a lot more Newports in the back of that truck being Detroit, but that's
Or Cools.
Yeah, oh, cool. Yeah.
I smoke king size candy. Yeah.
Do you got anything else you want to add, Dustin?
No, I just love the movie, man. That's why I was super stoked to be on tonight.
No, thanks for coming on. I know I'm gonna have my shot. This random spice. So for me, I was around middle school. I had a buddy of mine named Matt, and like I had known about Eddie Murphy, and I'd seen some of his comedy specials. I thought those were really badass. But then he's like, "Dude, you ever see Beverly Hills Cop?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Dude, like there's the whole middle school slumber party deal. Order 10 pizzas from Domino's or pizza or whatever was relevant in '99 or some shit." And so we watched Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. And I just remember seeing that opening chase scene. I'd be like, bro, this is awesome. Like, it was great, right? And you have Axel Foley. You got this guy who's like, he speaks like super fast. And like, he's very like, when he's not like, shit's not like going his way, he knows how to make a scene. He's got this like thing where he's going to make shit go his way. He kind of reminds me like Lando Calrissian, where it's just like, okay, shit's not gonna work. I'm gonna find a way to make it work, and if shit don't work, I'll figure it out on the fly. And he's just figure on the fly, smooth talking his way. Like I was just like, God, this guy is great. I just immediately fell like hooked to the character of Axel Foley. I'm like, and I love the name Axel Foley. I'm like, this guy is great, and I'll love the banana stuffing and was it the tailpipe?
The banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah,
he's like a Bugs Bunny. He was always one up on the competition.
Yeah, he really was like a Bugs Bunny. No, well said.
That's a good comparison.
Because they're on a stakeout watching him. He's like, I'd like to order this and that and this and that. Yeah, send it down to that brown sedan across the street with 2 kids in it and charge it to the police department.
It's funny that he got the bananas from Damon Wayans.
So weird seeing him with hair
before you were famous.
How much for the bananas? Well, you see, you get 10 pairs and $12.50 for the plate. Well, how much just for the bananas?
Representation. Look, a lot of representation from the LGBTQ2AI plus community in this movie.
Damon Wayans does such a good
Pinochet, he almost stole the movie in his 2-minute scene. Bronson Pinochet, he was hilarious.
Oh God, yes.
And the way Eddie Murphy riffed off him, it was just incredible.
You want an espresso with lemon twist?
When you get into Surge in part 2.
I want to add.
And he couldn't say his name. Ahmed Foley, Mr. Ahmed Foley.
Axel.
He was so
I am disappointed they didn't do the Dance of Joy though.
Mr. Foley. Oh shit!
Then in part 3, Surge comes back and he's got like the boombox / rocket launcher / assault rifle.
That's part of part 3.
He's like, no. Get my nice little bag and polish it up, make it nice.
I love what you put together here.
It's like I just wanted to shoot somebody.
I want to add like something like I thought about when I was doing my rewatch. I was. Like nowadays in action movies, like all the action scenes, the music's gotta be super tense. The music in here is like super hopeful, super uppity. It's just like I love how the music is so it doesn't fit, but it's so entertaining. It's just like
that's a really good point because the movie itself was very gritty, especially in Detroit, and then they have that super upbeat soundtrack. It doesn't even fit. Never noticed that.
Yeah, like in the truck chase in the beginning. Yeah, that soundtrack going. It's like,
I'm going to agree with Tom. Like it does and it doesn't. And like it's fitting because of the timeline and where it comes from, but obviously because it's more hectic and crazy situation here, they are playing this like almost music you can find like a dance club.
Well, here's the thing: okay, you have the opening scene, which is the Pointer Sisters, which like scream Detroit Motown sound, right? Like, okay, so you have that in the opening scene, but what do you have happen? Patti LaBelle kicks in the moment he hits Beverly Hills, and you get this upbeat song with "Stir It Up." And again, like you said, the songs kind of ebb and flow throughout the film. You got that great score from Harold Faltermeyer, which comes in when it needs to, and it's almost
fantastic.
It does
Glenn
come
Frey,
in right when it needs to.
The heat
I
is
hate
on.
in movies when it doesn't.
What's up,
You were saying
DZ
something,
Canadian?
Yeah, so the Glenn Frey, the heat is on. It's
Oh
just
God, the heat is on.
That's
track.
very beginning. Just that just brings you into the movie right away.
Yeah, written by Faltermeyer, but it's a clever song because it sounds really 80s, and it is. It's Faltermeyer, but he's put a kind of a rock and roll, old style rock and roll beat, like a Bob Seger thing going on underneath. Because Glenn Frey used to be in Bob Seger's band.
Well, wasn't he in the Eagles?
But before that, he was with Bob Seger.
Which is funny because moving on to the second film, this is a bit.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Tom.
He also wrote the song "Shakedown" for Glenn Frey.
Yeah.
But Glenn blew his vocal cords and couldn't record the song. So they called in Bob Seger, and Bob Seger got his first #1 hit.
Yep.
From Shakedown. Believe it or not, Bob Seger had not had a #1 hit before that song.
No, that's right. Yeah. Faltermeyer could actually write some good rock and roll underneath the synths and the drum beats and whatever. He was quite a good rock and roll writer. And Rick Vito played the lead guitar in The Heat Is On. He was in Bob Seger's band 2 years ago with Glenn Frey. So kind of an old school rock and roll thing.
Like a true sequel to The Heat Is On. Shakedown
Yes.
really is. Like in a weird way. It's really cool.
Yeah, so great music.
I forget that's how the part 2 begins with that song.
Him driving that Ferrari.
Yeah.
1,000 for a damn Ferrari.
Mario Andretti went and wrecked the damn Ferrari.
Damn it, Axel, you make my dick itch.
He became like the sergeant, the black angry sergeant that Ice Cube talks about in 21 Jump Street. He's like, yes, I am black. Yes, I am angry. And I shit you not, when I was a cop, our sergeant, my sergeant, later he became a desk sergeant anyway, but he was Ice Cube from that movie. And he would always do this thing. He'd be like, Mad Martigan. Because, that's what my name is. Mad Martigan. Would I lie to you? I would lie. And every time he would do this, I know he's lying to me. And it's going to be some bullshit that he's going to have me go do. But yeah, and he would get all angry and shit. But it was we fucked with him all the time, dude, because he was Ice Cube from 22 Jump Street, which, to link it back.
Cop. He didn't have no time for no bullshit.
No, he did not.
He enters the room and he's where the fuck is Foley at?
The only cop that did it better and did it twice was Frank McRae, as far as the angry black boss cop.
Yeah.
48 Hours and even the stupid laugh.
48 Hours is good too.
Frank McRae was a genius, by the way.
Just before we leave the music behind, I wanted to mention that Bob Seger and Glenn Frey are both from Detroit.
Yeah.
So that's why those songs work really well.
Yeah.
Well, I would have never known that Bob Seger was from Detroit.
Yeah.
Never.
Right? That doesn't sound Detroit-ish.
No, he's white.
Yeah.
He's out of the 70s, boys, where everything is super important.
Yeah, but Jesse, he's still the same.
And he gives it that old.
I'm gonna try this with the bitches, and they're gonna run away.
Man,
They're gonna run away.
You wanna watch a woman crumble? Just put on his version of "We Got Tonight."
Two of us
Who
lovely.
needs tomorrow? We got tonight,
can't beat a bit of
babe.
Bob. Can't beat a
Why
bit of
don't
Bob.
you stay? And she is yours.
Anyway, they're good Detroit boys, him and Glenn Frey.
Oh,
You know,
look
it's
at
funny
that.
that you guys
Look at that
mentioned-
scenery.
I can't remember who mentioned
Classic.
it now. I think it was you, either Nick or Matt. I think that said that
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it was a movie that was made for Eddie, which is true. But at the same time, when you look at it in retrospect now, it is the movie that is the most pure Eddie Murphy, right? Like when you boil it down to its bare essentials, like it is him through the entire movie being Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah,
doing his thing, and he carries this from beginning to end, and it is his masterpiece, right? Like I don't think he has made a better film.
I think that the friend what stuck out the most is like I don't see you two hanging out at all, and then he's like, I thought you knew, man. I love you. I love you. Like, Eddie gets played.
I read
know
an
how
article somewhere
did.
that
Like,
someone said they were a couple, and Eddie Murphy was avenging his his
of
boyfriend.
course they did. No,
You know,
that's
right?
bullshit
Yeah.
because it was a surprise to Eddie, like it was everyone else watching.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by this? Like, what are you getting at? You know what I mean? Like, and then it doesn't help that they wouldn't let him have the white chick as a love interest either. You know what I mean?
Well, he's
Lisa
a total
Eilbacher.
charmer. It would have made sense, dude.
Oh yeah.
Axel Foley was a total charmer. I mean, besides how he was a fast talker and always the guy who was trying to make a scene when things were going right, he was a total charmer.
But
I heard
if they
two
would have done that, we
conflicting-
would have had more scenes with women, which we are against here on Toxic Tuesday.
Well, and here's the thing about that. I've heard two conflicting stories as to why her character's role changed somewhat. Because if I remember right, I think in the original Cobra script, she would have been the girlfriend of the brother of Cobretti that got killed, which is the Michael character in the Eddie Murphy script. And then they would have been together. They would have wound up together at the end. But I think Eddie, from what I know, it was Eddie's choice to not have her be a love interest.
Really?
I guess so. I think it was his interpretation that these three kids used to hang out together and it would not be right for them to have a relationship. Now, the other story I heard was the studio, like you guys were alluding to earlier, is that the studio, there was no way they were going to have
a mixed
couple in a movie in that early of the 80s, which could also be true. But I believe Eddie Murphy's version of the story because it makes more sense if you watch
it does, because Star Trek, it's been done.
Well, you got to imagine these are kids that all grew up in Detroit together is the whole point.
Oh yeah, they had to watch each other's backs.
It's refreshing. Why there doesn't always have to be a romantic.
Nor should there be.
And I can see it from Eddie's angle. If he's that young and she's that much older than him, it might have been a little uncomfortable for him. You know, and he was really supposedly very, like, as much as he talked about pussy and shit back in the day, I guess he was really like, he was really picky and choosy with the women he was with back then, supposedly. So,
wow, he played Times Up before.
Well, you got to remember, this was in the beginning of the AIDS era, so he was like supposedly deathly afraid of getting, like, he's OCD like a motherfucker, I guess, is another thing.
Wow,
that's probably what makes him such a good comic, though.
Yeah, that could be Dustin. Man, I would never.
That's why I almost
Eddie
believe
Murphy.
his story about giving that transsexual hooker the ride home.
Yeah, maybe.
Almost.
But then again, he would have just driven past.
All right. The Notorial Life Form. Why don't you tell us about your life experience with Beverly Hills Cop? I know you said, I think to me on Discord, you're a big fan of the music. So go ahead and elaborate on initial experience and your connection to this flick.
Well, let's see. The movie itself came out when I was 2 weeks old, but my parents were big fans of the movie. They owned the VHS. So they watched it a lot. And when I think as early as probably two years old, I was watching it with them. And I really got into it. I really liked the music. I liked from beginning to end. I used to, and I'm not embarrassed to say this, but I used to do a 2-year-old dance to the Neutron dance when the whole chase was going down. I was just freaking. It just made me lit. I don't know what it was, but this movie is the reason why. This movie is the reason why I'm into 80s and synth pop and stuff. But yeah, this is literally my first R-rated film. Like, besides my dad, this was the first time I've really ever heard the F word. So I could thank this movie for, saying the F word.
So that
first place.
So that means like when that scene at the when they're at the strip club and Amber's like, it's okay, you can have a boner here. Like, so
I think my folks had me. I think my folks took me out of the room for that scene. But every other scene, like the violence, I remember all that. Jeez, like
God,
so
the violence, yes,
yeah. So like every time I see I see like the other actors, like I see Judge Reinhold, or I see Ronnie Cox, or even freaking Stephen Burkhoff, the villain. He was in Octopussy, I believe, and I think he was a villain in Deep Space Nine. He was one of Quark's. So he was in an episode of Deep
Octopussy was
Space
one
Nine.
of his villain roles. Yeah.
In Octopussy, I just remember the two weird guys who were like twins or something.
Yeah, they're like knife throwing circus guys or something.
Yeah, because that was the movie about the Fabergé eggs.
Yeah, that's right.
He was the villain in Rambo 2 as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah, actually he was.
Yeah,
I've actually met Steven Berkoff. I've had a drink. I had a drink with Steven Berkoff once, in fact.
Really?
There you go. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's you wouldn't know it, but he's from Stepney in London, which is very all right, Cockney, you know what I mean? And I think you would not know that. You would not know that because of his years in the theatre. He's kind of got rid of the accent, but he can turn it on when he wants to. He's from the same area as Michael Caine and Terence Stamp.
Shut up.
He knows Terence Stamp quite well. So.
Well, I don't know
Cockney's
how
a
many
lovely-
of y'all. I don't know how many of y'all know this, but this is something I know. Neutron Dance was actually an album track that was never meant to be a single and wound up being a huge hit. It was basically a filler track. That's all me.
The director actually heard the song on the radio. He's like, "Yes, we're going to put this in. We're going to incorporate this into the chase." That's basically how it got into the movie. He just freaking heard it. He's like, "We're putting this in." But holy crap! Like that whole movie. Even last but not least, Jonathan Banks is in this movie, and I mean, he's every time when I first saw him in Breaking Bad, I'm like, is he gonna slap somebody? And the first thing he does, he slaps Jesse Pinkman, just like he slaps what's his name, Michael. I forget his actor's name, but Mikey Tandino's.
Yeah.
It's Max Eddie Murphy too.
Banks was in a bunch of stuff back then too. I mean, he was in 48 Hours
with the same dead eyes that he always does.
Wise guy.
I like his line. Well, cuz. Because Eddie called him cuz. Yeah.
What am I gonna do with you, Mikey?
Shut up.
Well,
Pops your little buddy.
Mark D with a C. Last but absolutely not least, but you have waited so eloquently and patiently.
God,
you get to talk
far.
all the things, and we'll view some photos as you talk along too, because of the true 80s-ness of this flick, but especially those ridiculous red and black suits. So carry on.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said before, Eddie Murphy was huge back then. So being in high school and having a car for the first time, and heading out. I think I probably was 17, or either that, or we would sneak into
perfect
rated R
age,
movies. Yeah, so I mean, go out like on a weekend with your friends, and movie was $5 or $4. So every weekend you'd grab it didn't matter what was playing. You'd go catch a movie. So and I just love this movie. I mean, Murphy. I can't imagine with Stallone, but. Every situation Murphy's in, and he when in the towards the end where they're going to the it was at the airport or where they're inspecting customs, and he's just like walking around like nothing happens. You're like, how the hell is this guy not going to get caught here? And he calls the security guard over. He's like, you got a match? And
You the security guard?
Yeah, so it's like,
tell me, how the fuck did I get in here?
Yeah, right. So you're like, holy shit!
He's a great spy.
Guy? Right, and so he's like, he gets the guy to, he's gonna inspect everyone, and the guy's giving him lip. He's like, "Is that your Ferrari out there? Do you want me to get 28?"
Porsche. Is that it's not my Porsche. I don't know who that is.
I have no idea.
Get the IRS up your ass.
Fucking ass with a microscope.
Yeah,
straight up. Quicker.
How about? Go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say, when he checks in the hotel, you're like, how the hell is he gonna afford this hotel? On a cop's salary.
Oh, I know, right?
And he like, so he gets into the hotel and he figures out.
He gets it for the single room rate.
Cover that up. It's not sexy, okay?
He pulls the race card and he gets it for single room rate.
One of my favorite parts. That was one of my favorite parts. I'm doing a Michael Jackson article, and it's going to say Michael Jackson sitting on top of the world.
Michael Jackson heals the world.
Except if he goes to this hotel because of it's just a great. I'm not going to.
They won't let people in. They won't let certain people in.
Well, I love that he gets out and he goes, "This place expensive." He goes, "Not from Beverly Hills."
Not from Beverly Hills, yeah. And he's like, "Do you have any luggage?" He's more like, "Yeah, my bag's on the front seat."
And he's like carrying it in with his pinchers. He's like just carrying it in like it's disgusting.
Yeah, or like when
you
he
guys
parks in
parked
the-
this in a good spot. All this shit happened the last time I came here.
Yep,
Yeah,
I was just,
that was
I
when he went
gonna
to the
say
Harrow
that.
Club.
Yeah,
Or how about this? How about
That's
this
a
part?
funny-
That's got to be ad libbed. Yeah,
That's
How
a
about
funny
this
one?
bit. That is a total ad lib, and they didn't even know he was going to say that because I
That's
can't
so
remember what the
awesome.
line was, but there was no. It was some shitty line, and
yeah.
they'd done it like 3-4 times. And Martin goes up to Eddie and he goes, "Eddie, this is just not working. Give me something here." So he's like, all right, all right. And he goes up and he does that line, and the whole fucking crew lost.
Or when he
Great
gets
line.
arrested in the beginning, they're like one of his lines. You wonder if
What's
the
wrong
ad
with
lib.
you
He's like,
guys?
what happens? You get thrown out of a car here. You get arrested for jaywalking.
Get pushed out of a moving car. What do you get hit for? Jaywalking?
I can describe all of them.
I love that
Here's
scene
something I
too,
did
man.
believe. Here's something
Yeah.
I did believe for the longest time. I thought in Beverly Hills Cop you could just take the car that was closest to you. I literally believed that for
Grand Theft
years
Auto.
as a kid.
Yeah, because
That's
he
a
said
great
that.
line.
You know
Or
the
just
thing about
start
him,
his Mercedes,
like
yeah.
he probably heard so many jive talking crackheads in Detroit, so he just took all of their best bullshit stories and memorized them because he can't
That's a
forget
whole
them.
lot. That's impressive memory.
Well, you know what? If somebody says something to you that's just so
Yeah.
stupid,
Well, that's the
memorize
beauty.
it. It's like some guy tried to ask me for money once, and he
Well,
was
that's
doing a good job until he said he had to catch a train in a town that doesn't have a train station. I called him. You fucked up. I was like, so now I'm not going to give you any money. And he was like, oh, yeah.
Next time, get your stories straight. Yeah.
I can see you doing that, Jesse. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is, we bring that up is look at how much
Roll 'em
backs-
up.
look at how much backstory we get from Axel Foley just from what little bits we get, right? Like, if this was made now, we would have a whole first act dedicated to telling us where Axel Foley came from, why he's a cop
exposition
now.
scene.
How great he is.
And he's because the reason he's good is we know because he
Well,
used
he'd
to
be
be
a victim too.
he used to be a little street punk, right?
Used to
So
steal
that's how he
cars.
got street smart, and then he
Yeah.
got
Street smarts.
Oh yeah, if they remade this movie, they'd start with him as.
Well,
a
they got
child.
into that whole street smart thing like in the second movie.
Street smarts.
Well, not just that. You kind of get it. Is like the whole point from the story that he's telling. The story that he's telling Michael is, they got busted boosting a car, but he took the blame for Axel. And in my brain canon, like what I see happening is they all got in trouble, but I'm sure they let Jenny go because she was just a girl and she was just there. So they're like, whatever. They sent her home. And since Mikey took the blame, he took the blame. But like, I'm sure, I bet you, how in my head canon, it was his boss who gave him Eddie a second chance, right? He gave Axel a second chance. He's like, here's your choice, kid. You either go to the police academy and you become a cop, or you're going to end up like your buddy. And that, in my head canon, is how this worked out in his life. Like, these kids grew up together. They did nothing but get in trouble and fuck around in Detroit. And one day he gets busted, boosting a car with Michael and Jenny in tow. And the one who gets in trouble is Michael, but like Axel gets the choice of, he gets scared straight by the chief of police, which would be his boss now. That's in my head canon is the way this
and
went.
that's awesome because it instantly gives him survivor syndrome about the whole thing, and it adds so much character depth by saying
it's why
"We
he
got
lets
caught
Axel
boosting
get
a
rid of
car." That was it.
And it also gives a good reason why his boss always lets him have so much leeway, right?
Mhm.
Well,
If you kind of
It's
look
a
at it like
paternal,
that.
it's
Because he
it's
loves
a
him. He's like his
paternal
father.
element. Yeah,
So,
there's a paternal element. So yeah, I can see that.
There's actually another thing to it. So when I was a cop, I was very good, and I would
never
always
knew
refer
this
to
was so
myself.
good.
I would always refer to myself as QB1.
You never
'cause,
fell for the banana in the tailpipe, hopefully, right, man?
What? No. What? No. No. Anyway,
In your cop car.
no. QB1. I stole one once. I think that's a different story. But the one I'm saying now is I would always
Stole a
refer to
banana?
myself as QB1, like the starting quarterback, because like I was able to do things because I was good at my job. Like I could show up like in the middle of the briefing, half dressed, like don't have my vest on or anything, and I was And one night I show up like I always do, and I'm getting ready. And there's this daytime sergeant that was working overtime on our shift, on our night shift, right? And he looks at me and does the little hand thing. You know what I mean? Like, what time is it? I'm like, QB1. And he comes up, he's like, what are you talking about QB1? I'm like, dude, it's like in high school. The quarterback doesn't have to look, it's not fair that he doesn't have to do, all the homework, but that's just the way it is, man. He goes, that's how it is. Yeah. So I had leave, I had some extra time, so I got to leave early, right? So I'm leaving. He's getting to the station. He's like, "Hey, where you going, man?" He's like, "Oh, let me guess, QB1." I'm like, "You got it, man." And then I just fucking left, right? So it may be what y'all are saying, but it may also be that he is so good, and they do make reference to how good he is at his job, that he just gets to get away with things because that is how it is. If you're really good and you know your shit, then you can get away with a lot more.
Well,
Cops can get away with anything if they know how to write it up.
Yes, but all we've ever seen Axel do is fuck up.
Well,
we never get to
okay.
Was he not
Detroit?
But Matt,
Comes up
no,
right
wait.
into the perfect situation, just like a goddamn wizard.
Matt
I
or
wanna hear
Tom,
more
was he
about-
not impersonating the guy where he picked up the bananas from the guy who just let him have it when he was like also doing the impersonation later on in the movie?
You
Was
could
he
look
not
at it that way? That's true.
That's what I
didn't
thought.
think
He
of
was
that.
playing the game. He knew how to play the game. He was trying to do the voice tonality and the mannerisms. That's what I got out of that. Did you feel like that was something?
No, but now that
different?
you say that, no, but I totally can see where that's the thing. It's like I think Jesse's right, and you're right with that aspect. Is that's what Axel does as a character. Like he picks up things from the around him and he uses them. Yeah,
It just so happens that Eddie Murphy was good at that himself. So,
yeah, it just played with the character. I mean, it was almost like his own Fletch, right? Like if you really stop to think about it.
I want to know more about why Mad stole a banana. He said he stole a banana. Can you tell us more, Mad?
Yeah, Matt, tell us about the banana.
No, he's gone.
Because QB won.
Because QB won.
That tailpipe wanted it.
That's right. It was asking for.
You're not going to fall off a banana in the tailpipe?
Can't use that hand symbol now, right?
No, he can, but we can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry for my headcanon thingy, but
no apologies, dude. I
like
have
the
to zoom in on this photo right here for a reason. So
that's how I end my very first video, my very first Nerdporial videos with that very shot.
I thought that was supposed to be a white supremacy symbol. Why is
It is.
It is.
It
Yeah.
was
What?
Ever since that was revealed, thousands of scuba divers have died because they've not been able to signal properly.
Yeah, actually saying
therapy.
he's a prisoner fan. He's saying, "Be seeing you."
it's on almost everything for the advertising too. I don't know why they're acting like it's something. You know what I mean? Like, see, it's on everything.
Don't miss the strip club scenes, right?
Oh,
Hey, Phil, what's happening, baby?
Actually, those,
Look at that.
I got a
face.
question for Mad, because he doesn't like women in movies. But Mad, do you think strip club scenes are acceptable?
Gross.
No, so you don't want any women, even
No
in strip
women?
clubs.
Well, they're acceptable if they're not talking.
Any excuse.
Would it be better if it was a male strip
They
club?
didn't
Would
talk
you
in
prefer
the
that?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. If it was a Chippendales, I'd be more for it. As long as there's no women.
Pro tip, find out when those shows end and hang out outside.
Yeah, they're all horned up and ready to go. They'll
Lots of
take
Damn
anything.
right.
Billy Rosewood was a great character, though.
Oh yeah, the Rosewood and Taggart. I wish we had gotten a TV show of them. We almost
That'd be
did.
great.
They were basically Laurel. They were basically Laurel and Hardy, especially when they're trying to climb the wall.
Yeah, that's why I have the pictures
The
of you go up
compound.
there trying
Well,
to climb up before.
Billy's so eager, but
This shot here is just like, oh my god, first shot, I did it. Look at that.
He's like, please put your hands behind your back, and they start getting shot. And he's like, you do that again, I'll shoot you myself.
yeah, that was great.
I love the Butch Cassidy reference. When he's
Yeah.
Feels like Coach
It's
Cassidy.
like, Billy, I'm going to make you pay for getting me into this.
Yeah, don't they die at the end of that movie, right? We both end up dead.
yes.
Like, let's not reference it. You know?
I love that.
I really enjoyed
He's
it in,
laughing while they're
part
trying to climb the
3.
thing.
I love it when he's taking.
Part 3 that they
he's
made
taking
him an actual
he's-
like good cop at a judge. Like they put him
Yeah.
in charge. He made something of himself.
Well, he
because of
needed
Axel.
someone to bring him out of his shell,
Yeah, he
and
did.
stop break the rules a little.
He became a
and kinda
boss.
Yeah. But I love it when he's taking Axel to the airport and he persuades him, no, we're going back.
He's like, he smiles. He's like, Billy.
yeah,
Billy.
Billy. And then he says, all they told me to do was to drive you out of town. Now I'm going to screw that up too.
Do you guys remember when? Do you guys remember when construction could take bullets?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Nowadays
there's
it's
a-
all plastic.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a
really?
picture, one of the pictures there where he shoots him, and it's like they're sheetrocking between Murphy and the gun, and it's like you see the shots. It's like
Yeah, because he's shooting
you're
up some
dead.
poor bastard's marble.
Yeah,
That's right. It's like a Civil War building, with all the bullet holes still in it.
These guys are about as accurate as stormtroopers, though. The bad guys in this movie, they're spraying automatic weapons and they can't hit anyone. It's like it's like how fast are Taggart and Rosewood? It's like
They made up for it in part 3 when they shot the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about part 3, but I'd say like part 2 almost has enough stuff. We should almost do a Toxic Tuesday.
Oh, there will be.
They go to the
part
fucking
two.
Playboy.
There will be.
Second one.
There's so much shit to talk about in the second film, but yeah, like this movie is just
They
a
upped the
classic.
buddy. They upped the buddy element in part 2.
If you want to
between
do
the three of them,
The three of
part
them are really great in
2
that.
soon, sooner than later, I'm down.
Oh,
I'm
eventually here,
just
yeah.
saying.
let's do it after this show tonight. Let's keep
How
going.
many women?
What does the co-host think?
How many women are in the second one?
Well,
Except for the ones
Bridget
at the
Nielsen.
Playboy. You got
Yeah,
Bridget
Bridget
Nielsen.
Same amount.
Bridget
Yeah.
Nielsen.
No,
Oh no,
Well,
Bridget
yeah,
Nielsen's
Bogomil-
scary.
But she's a operating
Bogomil's
gun range
daughter,
there,
And
right?
yeah, Bogomil's daughter as well. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
only
Oof.
one more, man.
But you got
Only
the
one
Playboy
more.
Mansion to make up for it. So
Hey,
That
Hef,
you're going
what's
the
up,
opposite
Hef?
direction.
Didn't have to ask you guys to leave.
I love how he
yeah, I
gets
mean, I'm
into
down
the-
for
he
it
gets into
whenever.
the country club too. He's
Alright.
like,
Maybe in a
pretends
few
to be-
weeks we'll do that. In a few weeks from now, we'll do a part 2 of Beverly Hills Cop for the sequel. That sounds like a great idea.
3.
Nah, we'll
I
just
like
we'll
We
stick it
can
with
talk
2.
about 3 at the end of 2.
Yeah.
You
I
had
brought up
three-
3
you
as
had,
much as I brought up the first one here.
A fun
Yeah,
fact:
well, that's the thing,
the
is it's not
owner
a-
of the owner of the theme park in 3 is the actor that plays Scrooge McDuck,
Yeah. Well,
Alan Young.
It's also Mr. Ed's friend.
I actually don't hate the
The guy
third
from Mr.
film.
Ed. I don't either.
Really?
I saw
No.
the third. I like it too.
I'll have to
it's not
rewatch
as
it.
Good.
I watched it
not
one
as
time
good,
and never
but-
ever wanted to watch it again.
Why didn't they bring back Ronnie Cox or John Ashton in that? one?
John Ashton was shooting something else at the time, and I think Ronnie Cox was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got, like,
maybe
Hector
Star Trek.
Elizondo.
Was he playing Captain Jellicoe at the time?
I don't know about
Perhaps.
that.
It was 93, 94, so
No.
I don't know.
Not quite yet. That was before that. But Hector Elizondo, though, was a good actor.
Yo, he does
Yeah,
not
he was
look
all right.
22.
No, I know.
By the way,
right?
the villain
Yeah.
in Beverly Hills Cop 3 is the jerk that keeps bad mouthing Data in was it Redemption Part 2?
Yeah.
On his ship.
What?
That's the same actor. Same actor.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Oh, we didn't even bring up the bad guy in this one all that much.
No, we
Victor
did not.
Maitland, Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah,
good
Victor
in it.
Okay,
Maitland
so how
played by
Stephen
possible would it
Burkoff.
be?
Stephen Burkoff. Yeah.
You did.
We're
talk
talking about
it a
how
little
old
bit.
Axel Foley
Little
is,
bit.
right?
Yeah.
He's 22 in this, right? How possible is it to be a detective at 22?
Honestly, I don't know if
Not
he's
very-
playing
I don't think
22.
Not very
He's
possible.
playing older though. He's
I
playing
It's
think
older.
only
he's-
possible if Tom's head canon is
Yeah.
correct.
I don't think Axel's that age.
No, I think
you would have to be 21 just to get into the police department to begin with.
Right.
I was gonna say I think in reality Axel's supposed to be like 27.
Yeah,
that makes
That's
sense,
still
yeah.
very young.
Yeah, it's still fresh.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where my head canon. Because if you go by the amount of time that would have taken, because I think Mikey said he was in jail for like 5 years in juvie or whatever, and then they went, he's X amount old. He had to go through the academy. He'd become a detective, all that kind of shit. You're right. Like the
They
bare
can tell you,
minimum.
but the academy don't take shit at 6 months or something.
Yeah. Well, his boss.
No,
did
but
say-
become a
talked to him
detective
like
and all
he's
that
a
kind of
total-
shit.
like
Yeah.
he's
All right,
a
hold
brand
on.
new.
That's
Hold on.
rising through the ranks. And the second you see him do cop shit, like actual cop shit in this movie, he's the goddamn best. So he obviously would have just fallen through the ranks because they would just promoted him.
Mhm.
No, not necessarily, because you
Don't
got to
think?
remember there's other people in the department. You also have the union, and don't forget, like some of them has like time in grade. Like you have to have so much time
Mhm.
in a position before you will be promoted up. Depending, but each department is different.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
a good
Anything under 6 years, I'm not even going to give you the time of day.
Now,
I guess Murphy started young in this universe. He started young.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming he jumped into the police academy when he's
And
8,
yeah,
like whatever
and he's-
age you can
Can't
go
till
in.
you're
And he's
21.
meant to be a Detroit policeman. There
Back
wasn't
then,
that
it was
many.
the same.
There wasn't that many of them.
Okay, well maybe 84 would be a little different, but
Hold on, Detroit had standards for policing.
No. they don't
Well,
have-
no, that's what I'm saying.
Yo, you really want to be a
No,
cop?
they didn't.
Yeah,
There you
you want to be a cop, you're in.
Here's your gun. Here's your badge.
And you
Don't
want
die.
it, you're in.
You seen RoboCop? Watch your ass.
Actually, yes, there
look-
was standards.
Look
in
where they
most
hired for
areas,
security
but-
in the art gallery, right?
'cause that's another movie that
yeah.
came out in '84. Actually, that's kind of the point of the plot, and it actually kind of mirrors my headcanon of Axel Foley, and that would be Police Academy, because the whole point of that film
That would
was
be a great
that
movie for here.
the law had come into effect that you could no longer, like the whole guess what, kids? This was like back in the '80s. We actually did this to where you could not discriminate. So they had to allow anybody into the police
That's
academy.
right. That was the plot.
So
of
that's
that,
the
yeah.
whole point of the film, is like that actually happened. So like it was the whole idea was like, what if every loser in the world signed up to become a cop?
Very
Well,
lunatic
you know what?
loser.
I actually was looking into becoming a cop, and I didn't want to take a lie detector test. But one of my boys informed me that who was a cop, he says that with the lie detector test, they're concerned if you tell the truth. They don't care what you tell the truth to. The other thing with the police department is you have to be able to run like a fucking gazelle. And I'm not a runner. Look at me. I'm glad I passed the fire department running test.
Like Mad's a good runner.
No, no, running's not my thing. But I
He runs
did
away
enough
from
to
women
get,
all the time.
all the time, all the time.
That's I could believe.
Are we ever gonna do Police Academy? Because I had never heard that about Tom's thing. Because I got a great story about a guy that was let in after he sued for disability. He wasn't let in. His name was Handy Randy.
Oh, no way. You're making that shit up.
No, I'll tell you. Fuck it. All right.
This
so this
isn't a movie?
No.
Tell us.
This
Sounds like an Adam
happened to me.
Sandler
I
movie.
digress.
I swear, hand to
David
God, this
Spade.
happened. He was in my class.
Jibbity-doo.
His name was, well, his real name wasn't Handy Randy. That's what we called him because he had a baby hand. Now,
Fuck me running.
Oh my God.
dude,
You are making it in a job.
no, I'm not making this. Hand to God, Tom. Hand to God. Listen. So what
Little
happened
baby
was,
hand to God?
yes,
Hold on, I got my gun on. I gotta get my hand cuffed.
so this is what happened, right? So he sued because of the Disability Act, all this other bullshit, right? And I didn't know at first that he had a baby hand, but we're running. We had two different groups. I was in the second group. He was in the first group. They finished early and they're doing the motivation, like, come on, guys, you can do it, and doing high fives. And when he went to high five me, I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but have you ever tried to high five an adult man and yet a toddler hand somehow jumps? It freaks you the fuck out.
Not.
It freaks you the fuck out.
Was that his gun hand?
No, it was not. Hold
No, it
on
was
now.
not his
Don't
gun.
don't get ahead.
Masturbation was interesting. For him.
Don't get ahead
I
now.
would cut it off and get a
When we slapped hands, and I was like, "What the fuck was
Welcome
that
to
shit?"
Toxic Tuesday,
I
kids.
was like, "What was that?" This guy. By the way, from then on, all I did was pay attention to him. On the gun range, this dude was trying to load his magazines with this
Does
fucking
anybody else
baby
actually
hand.
believe
Are you
this
fucking
story?
kidding me?
This, I swear to Christ, Tom, this is a real story.
He didn't make a system
Okay,
at
you
home.
almost have to produce Baby Hand Man now. I got to see Handy Randy.
Oh fuck! Do I?
Show me your hands.
I
know
may
what?
be able to track down a picture of him. I
This is
may
on
be able to
YouTube.
track
This
down
is
a
on
picture.
YouTube,
No, I don't want some
technically,
fake
Nick has
ass
copyright
bullshit.
here.
No.
Photoshop picture. I want
No.
the real
Yes,
guy.
I may be able to track down some photos from when I was in the academy, but listen, it's because it gets better. So this dude failed everything, right? He by the way, he didn't make it.
Like he
Believe it or
died.
not, but believe it or not, he didn't make
You
it.
do
But
have
like,
to hand it to him for the effort he put in.
oh
Or
fuck
he
me.
went through the academy. You gotta be clear here. He died, or he didn't make it through the academy.
No.
Was
They,
he fingered for a higher role, maybe?
Don't you have to do push-ups
Don't
and
give me a
pull-ups?
sad ending here for
Listen,
Handy Randy,
no.
but then again, it might be.
listen,
Come on,
he
this
failed
might be
everything.
mad.
He failed
material
everything.
here.
Mad, you've got them eating out of the palm of
Listen,
your hand.
uh,
Yeah,
shut
we
the
gotta
fuck
milk
up.
this for all we could get.
Look, I gotta tell you the best part, right? So we're doing the OC, like the OC
That
course,
wasn't
right?
the
Like
best.
this is the
That
best
wasn't
part,
the
right?
best part.
Yeah, no. This is the best part.
I can't
So,
stop crying.
When see, I already been sprayed before I knew it doesn't affect me into the water. I went first,
Oh my
and I was
God.
lucky because I got to watch Randy go. Now, when Handy Randy went, So he's sprayed. He's going through the different, the different sections, right? You got to knee this bag, hit this bag, or whatever, right? The last bit is that you got to talk a guy down at gunpoint and put him in handcuffs. So he's like, get on the ground, motherfucker, get on the ground. And he gets him on the ground, and he gets down, and he looks at the dude, and he looks at his gun, and he looks at the dude, and he looks at his gun, and then at his holster. And so he tosses the gun behind him, so that way he can get his handcuffs out. It was a red gun. It wasn't a real gun, but anyway. So he's
a big one.
Listen. So he couldn't figure out how to put his gun in his holster with his baby hand. So he thought the best thing to do was to just toss it behind him at a safe distance.
That's not very
so
tactically
that way
sound.
nobody could get it.
They would have given him better points if he pistol whipped the motherfucker.
The dude, the instructor that was on the ground was like, "What the fuck did you just do?"
He's like, I couldn't put it away.
Last question about Handy Randy.
He said, I can't help it. I'm all fingers and thumbs today.
Yeah, why isn't it little Randy Handy then? Like he's got a little.
That's too. Handy Randy works.
Handy Randy today. Do you know, man?
I have no idea.
This guy better be real, or I was going to steal this idea.
He tried to blow his brains out,
I
but he just
swear
couldn't make
it's
it.
real. It may take some time because I would have to figure out how to get back into Facebook.
All over it.
But I may be able to find. Oh, if you can make it out to be like a serious drama. As a child, he was always left behind.
I wonder if it was when he picked his nose, did the whole fist go up there? Or?
Oh my God! What happened?
It was more just like a. It wasn't functional like at all. It was just more like a not a club.
It was vestigial.
Yeah, it was just like you just like people
That's
with
the
it.
sequel
I guess would
Soul
work.
Assassin. Handy Randy tries out for the firefighters. That's part 2.
Can't hold the hose.
Oh,
But yeah, no, Handy Randy.
My face hurts so bad right now.
Listen, you could have a whole stream thinking of appropriate jobs for him.
If I could have made that up, my channel would be so much better than what it is. But no, that is a true. I'm just telling you a true story.
You got a point here.
This is a true thing that I was blessed.
Every time I hang out with you, Mads.
You got any other fucked up shit you want to tell us to make me laugh?
Every fucking time I hang out with Mads, he's got some different story. Never the same one. But
I'm so
that
glad
shit
I came
crazier
here.
than the last one. And you thought you heard the craziest story you ever heard out of his ass. No, he pulls a Handy Randy.
Listen, y'all haven't even
goes to
heard
the strip club.
I don't think maybe Tom has heard the cock in the grass story,
No.
but I'll save that one for another time.
What was
The
story?
cock in the grass story. It's a whole thing. I'll tell y'all another time.
Yes,
But that
I think
sounds
I did
safer.
hear that one.
Yes.
For the sake
Oh
of Nick's
my
health,
God.
I think you better skip
I'm
that.
pretty sure you have the floor for fucked up stories. You can tell it now.
No. I'm gonna save
At
it
this
for when
point,
it's
there could be
appropriate.
just a show about man's fucked up story.
I would love
And then you got to sit there at the end of the story, like, is it real or is it fake, kids?
Soul Assassin brings up another good one, the tampon story. That one, man, that one broke me, dude.
I got one tampon story, okay? I was a carpenter for almost 10 years, right? So we're redoing this 3-family, and this was the house from hell. They had one room that had been closed off with Roddies inside. So the entire big hardwood floor that used to be a dining room was now covered in dog shit, destroyed.
Ugh.
I go down to the basement, stairs go down. There's this much area between the garbage and the ceiling. I had to clean that out.
Oh,
Yeah. Then we go up to the bathroom, right? First off, this low-class bitch carved in the door Nadine the Queen above her doorbell. Going to the bathroom, there's a styrofoam cup in the little recess for the soap. And there's a tampon in it used. I'm like, is this bitch saving this thing for later, or is a vampire
Gotta save
making
money.
tea?
There's
Gotta
still
save
some
money.
mileage in that one. Yeah, keep
Then
that
I
one.
walk out into the kitchen, and there's one of these plastic containers, right? Actually, I got one right there, like a plastic container like that. You can't really see it, but little plastic containers from Wally World, right? Pick this thing up. You know how there's a recess in the bottom of that? It must have been rock packed with cockroaches, because when I picked that thing up, they were fucking everywhere. I was like, boop, nope. Went right out the fucking front door. The boss is walking in. I grabbed him by the shirt and I drug him outside. I'm like, nope, Matt Roach is in there. He's like, what do you mean? No big deal. I was like, no, you don't fucking understand, son.
Oh yes, sketch therapy. You have missed a hell of a last 7 or 8 minutes.
My rewatch it. Handy Randy is such gold.
Oh, I know.
I could tell my famous.
You'll have to go in and
screenplay.
put timestamps in and actually timestamp it Handy Randy.
We are all
actually
going to
interesting,
hell.
Mad, because I have a cousin who's got a very small hand called Randy,
Oh, no.
and he tried it for the police once.
That's interesting.
This
That's
guy was
really weird.
Hispanic.
What a coincidence.
I doubt there's that. No.
Pull him up.
What sucked though, like when he prayed, because Catholicism.
Yo, every time he tried to finger a girl, she got fisted. Can I say that on TV?
You just did.
I guess so.
We've not reached the bottom yet. We're still going.
Still digging
We're
that
circling
hole.
the drain.
Oh, Lord. So what movie were we talking about?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Handy
yeah.
Randy.
All right, Beverly
Fittingly,
Hills.
for some reason, this all seems to fit because it's Toxic Tuesday. We're just being toxic.
It does.
males here.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, someday Nick asked me to tell you the rag story, but not for tonight.
no, we can.
Oh, shit.
I guess we all have a toxic story. I mean, I remember like
if you
one
want me
time
to tell it, I can. But yeah,
I got a quickie. So I had a friend of mine who was dating this girl. I didn't really like her. Her name was Cece. And like one day I think I was like 16 and I got super drunk off of Skull. And then I ordered about 11 tacos from Taco Bell. And then, Taco Bell and Skull Vodka together as one turns into a very horrifying element.
You must have had
When
the
I-
shits.
Well, it's even better than that. I look at Cece, I'm like, hey, Cece. And yeah, the worst outcome possible.
She's like, why
She
did
got-
you do that?
I projectile vomited on her, and then my friend David would not kiss her for like a week.
There's not a lot of coming back from projectile vomiting.
No.
Good Lord.
not gonna happen. Yep.
Hey, Eric.
What?
You ever seen The Exorcist? Good.
Or
since we're-
Stand By Me.
Oh yeah,
Stand
not that
by
scene. Oh
me.
yeah. The pie eating contest. Yeah.
So
Since
what's your
we're telling
story,
these
Mark?
kind of stories, I had
isn't it
two
almost the
friends who were living
anniversary of
together.
Stand By Me?
I gotta tell the story as quick as I can. But I had two buddies who were living together after college, right? And one buddy's like, I'm sick of paying for the toilet paper all the time. Why is the roommate? He's got to start buying some toilet paper. So I'm going to take the toilet paper out every time I use the bathroom. And after
Smart.
a while, he's like, I don't see any toilet paper in the what the fuck's going on? And then after a while, he's like, what the freak is that smell? And he looks under the toilet
Oh,
seat,
no.
and there's a rag that's been used. Right? So he's like,
An
"That's it."
animal
He's
is
like-
smarter
he's like-
than that.
He's like, you win. But then the kicker is like, one of our other buddies was telling the story. He lived in DC. And so he's telling it. So when one of the friends came down to visit, he goes to shake his hand. He's like, I'll use a different name. He's like, you're not Johnny, are you? He's like, he wouldn't shake his hand. He's like, no, that wasn't me.
Mark, I got a quick joke from you. I stole from Alf. What's the difference between toilet paper and a shower curtain?
What?
You're supposed to say, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because then I could say, it was you. Nobody ever says,
Oh,
I don't know. They always say
okay. Back to the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Police Academy.
What movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills
Randy
Cop,
Handy at Police
starring
Academy.
Handy Randy.
So yeah,
Handy Randy had a good run.
Could you imagine Handy Randy in Beverly Hills Cop?
that would have been something.
That would have been awkward.
It would have.
He'd be like, I got this carton of cigarettes. I got to hold it. I can't hold it.
Oh my god. Oh man. Okay, so we'll start off with our favorite
Sorry, I just keep picturing
You know,
Handy
oddly
Randy
enough, you
throwing
only
the gun.
lost 2 people on this whole thing.
Sorry, he just threw the
That's
gun.
I was gonna say, we could start off with our favorite moments and where we score it at on 3 different scales. We have Die Hard scores because Tom is here, and we have toxicity, and then the movie in general. So, Mad, I'll start off with your favorite moment and the 3 scores.
My favorite moment. I can't even think about. You know what? I really like any interaction with his captain. Like he steals the show with what little screen time he has, because his intensity whenever he is on set, whenever he's in the scene, is just palatable. Like you just can feel how intense he is, and it's such a great and juxtapose that with Eddie and his kind of loose. You know what I mean? Like it works so good, and I only want more of their interactions. As far as the Die Hard scale, I'm going to give it a 9 Die Hard. That sounds 9 Die Hard. Toxicity level.
It doesn't get a Die Hard because this is before Die Hard came out.
Oh my God, Tom! We took your Die Hard
Die
thing.
Hard
We changed
is
it.
forever.
Quit changing my shit.
Well, people kept asking me to do a Die Hard on everything. I'm like, I don't know.
Understand the
Well,
scale.
number one, it can't be a 9. It's not Christmas.
No, it could be a 9 because it was Thanksgiving.
Explain the Die Hard scale again.
No,
Die
Please,
Hard
'cause I've never heard it.
Die Hard scale only applies to movies that are basically Die Hard on a or in a, and at that point, then you compare it to Die
You're
Hard.
limiting this to Under Siege.
I like that.
No, there's Under Siege, there's Speed. You can even get into like stuff
Speed
like
is not
Air Force
Die
One.
Hard. He didn't kill shit. He drove a bus. He didn't even drive the bus. She
It's
drove
still
the bus.
Die Hard on a bus.
No, it ain't.
That's what people called it.
It's blown away on a bus. Remember Blown
point.
Away? Excellent.
It doesn't
fucking
matter
film.
as long as it came out after Die Hard and it has a similar.
Okay,
similar
fine.
plot to
You can
Die
have
Hard.
your Die Hard thing. We're gonna
Then
do
it gets Die
Handy
Hard.
Randy.
How many give me Handy Randy?
This gets how many
Fine.
Handy
Fine.
out of
Does the
Randy?
Handy
Handy Randy
Randy
score how much more
toxicity.
awesome it is with Handy Randy?
So I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 fingers. I agree with Soul Assassin on the Handy Randy scale. And as toxicity, a 0. There was barely any women in it for it to be toxic. And
Even the strippers.
as the greatness scale, I'm gonna give it a 9.7.
All right, excellent, Mr. Tom Connors, sir. Where do you get this out of 1 of 5 Handy Randys?
Hold
Oh,
on,
it's a
real
5
quick.
out of 5.
Hold on, real quick. Nick, remember, what does she rank on your finger scale? Oh, that's the scale where
That's Boy
he'll,
Scout.
he'll cut off whatever fingers if he gets the fucker. Anyway,
You ain't Elvira, bitch.
No, like my favorite
Right
scene,
hand or left hand?
My favorite scene is probably the Bronson Pinchot scene.
You can see that.
Okay.
Other than that, I give it 10 out of 10. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay. And out of how many? 1 of 5 Handy Randys, how many does it get?
It gets a Randy hand job.
Oh,
It is one of the greatest movies ever made. So it is
All right.
pure bliss.
awesome. And you have been pure bliss as well, sir, Tom of the Connors. Thank you.
dude, his hand job would just be him chopping at it, like I guess like rubbing the tip, maybe at most. Sorry, go on.
I asked you if it was articulate or not, and you wouldn't answer me.
All right. Dustin, why don't you talk about where you rate this 2 scores of 1 out of 5 handy randies, and then a 1 out of 10 where is it ranking toxicity? So you can start off with the handies.
I think it's 5 handies. 5 out
It's
of 5.
five?
Is it a 5 out of 5 scale?
Yeah, the handies are a 5, and then the toxicity is 1 out of 10.
Well, I don't think
It's
it
a
was very,
five-finger
I don't think it
death
was very
baby hand.
toxic, but I mean, everybody was really polite. You know,
Murphy wasn't though.
yeah, he was. I mean, for the 80s. So I give it like I don't know. I give it a 5 toxicity scale.
Okay.
And I give it 10 out of 10 for my scale.
And a 10 out of 10 for your scale. Awesome. And all right. Awesome. Well, kill it, dude. Excellent.
I didn't do it. I think it was toxic enough. You got the strip club.
Yeah,
no
give it
love
toxic
story
scale.
to get in the way of bullshit.
Yeah, right. We don't need all that.
Yeah.
We don't need all that shit. Yeah, I agree.
Gilly Chow is gonna have no idea what we're talking about. With Randy. Gilly, you gotta rewind.
Yeah, rewind and learn about the legend of the handy.
Peter, you're fucked up.
All right, so I'll go with mine. Out of 1 out of 5 handies, this gets a full fucking fist. So this is full fist. And then toxicity, I'm gonna go with the 7 because get Eddie Murphy, who's basically, once again, he's carrying the entire movie from beginning to end. He's a charmer. He's fast talking. He's running the show, and he's being toxic along the way. You can definitely make some arguments about everyone else not being so toxic, but Eddie Murphy is the 1 to 7. So that's where I'm going at. And then the movie on its own 2 feet, its own incredible entity, I'm going to go with a 9.2. And that's where I say it. And my favorite moment, I'm going to go with either the banana stuffing or just that opening scene, because that opening scene really set the standard for the chaos and the goofiness and what was to come of what would be a all-time great in Beverly Hills Cop. So that's where I stand. And now I pass the floor on to the man below me, Sir Jesse Miller at the Crow's Nest.
The first thing I got to bring up is you. You said you loved the first 10 minutes. Remember back in the day in the 80s when you watched this movie 100 times?
Yeah.
It was a fucking gift when you got to see it from the beginning.
Yeah.
You saw the first 10 minutes. Because back in the day we had TV. There was none of this streaming crap. Right? So, yeah, that first 10 minutes changes the movie completely. It's beautiful. Now, favorite scene, I know the banana scene is classic, a lot of classic scenes. For me, it was my first viewings of this when I was a kid, my first introduction to Axel. The thing that impressed me was when he outsmarted them and he knew to just use a gum wrapper to break the seal between the magnets. I love that. As far as toxicity goes,
that was 2.
That's 2. Yep. I think, isn't it?
No,
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it was a second. Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, but he's definitely a smart guy, though. Yep.
And where do you rank this in toxicity?
Well, then as far as 1 goes, I love when he delivered the tray of food to them.
Yes.
Because the tray of food is a better joke than the banana.
Yeah, it was a good setup that led to the banana. No, you're right. I can see what you're getting. That's a fair argument to make. Yeah. I can
as far as toxicity goes, that's easy. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, and I'll tell you why.
Tell us why.
He was a loose fella. He was comfortable with himself as a man, right?
Okay.
He was very much himself. He was very self-actualized. Now he meets these 2 gentlemen from a more repressed portion of society out in California, and he has to teach them how to be men again. He really does. And he's successful at it. And he makes them both better for it. They would hate that crap and that narrative nowadays. That makes it toxic.
Yeah.
In a beautiful way. As far as Handy Randy, I got to give this the full fist, like pretty much everybody else. Because I like, if you replace Axel Foley with Handy Randy, every scene, I wouldn't even be able to make it through it. Overall, as a movie, I would have. While you guys were talking about your ratings, I was really thinking about what problem did I have with this movie? Because I always got a fucking problem with a movie. I don't have any problem with this movie. So I really do have to rank it either 9.5 or a 10. I mean, nothing's perfect.
Wow.
I mean, it's damn fucking close. I mean, you're hard-pressed to watch this movie and see something that annoys you or breaks your suspended disbelief or does any of that crap. It's very much... It's tight as fuck. And the score, amazing.
Yes, it is.
And like you were saying before, it always comes in at just the right time.
All right.
It's
Cool.
a great movie. It's a great franchise. I just hope they don't fuck it up with another sequel.
Review.
No, excellent, Jesse. Well spoken. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and giving your piece. Yeah, and you're fucking stoned. I love it. So it's good. You're getting high, man. All right. Blobbering times. Favorite moment and then the 3 scores. You know the order?
It's really tough to pick a favorite moment, so I'm just going to go ahead and say the entire piece at the Harrow Club, starting from the line about, can you put this in a good spot? All this shit happened last time. Into the little performance he gives to get into the club with the guy, at least you forget. And you know, in this confrontation with Cuz. Jonathan Banks, and yes, that whole sequence. I mean, there's so many that could be singled out. There were many wonderful scenes. I don't have much of a view on the Mandy, the Handy, whatever it is. What is it, Handy Mandy? Whatever. What just give it the top marks there and give it the whole 50. Actually, on the toxicity scale, though, something that no one ever really brings up all the things. I really like a lot of stuff Jesse was saying about it. He really does educate those guys on how to act like real men. But not only that, what shouldn't it also count as toxic? The fact that there's no good. Lisa Albacher is good. She serves a good part in the film. But aside from that, this is a completely male-dominated film.
As it should be.
Guys, as it should be, right. So, but that's pretty toxic. That would be called toxic by today's standards because it's all about the guys.
Yeah, and the thing is that the female lead, she played her role perfectly.
But always loved her.
Yeah. Said what she had to say and got out of the way.
Right.
Yes.
She would have saved Axel 18 times if this was made last year.
Right. Absolutely. So actually, it is very toxic because it's just about the guy. She's there to perform a certain function in the story, and that's about it.
There to perform a service like women should be. Yes, I agree.
Yes. And it's one of the most perfect films ever made. Everything works. Everything clicks. It never hits a speed bump. I'm going to go with a 10. I love it.
Wow.
One more toxic point. One female cop in the entire movie.
I was going to say that. Yeah, no female cops.
Not with female cop. Oh, yeah. This is very toxic when you think about this thing.
Yeah, they're the worst. Toxic flick.
I got to increase my rating now.
Right, I feel like my scores have gained enhancements now. Well said, Clobbering. You leveled out all the toxicity points. Awesome. All right, Nerdporial. You know what to do. Start with the handies.
So it's best. So was it best scene? And what else was
followed by handies.
Okay, I don't get the handy part. Handy, was it Handy Randy or whatever?
Nobody does.
No one
Handy Randy. It's if the main character in this film was replaced with Handy Randy, how great would this movie be?
I'm looking at a picture of Handy Randy, and it's just I get the Mad Magazine kid.
Don't Google that.
Alfred E. Newman.
I've never tried to Google Handy Randy before. Let me.
Oh no!
Oh God!
So I mean, I think my favorite part of the movie, ever since I was a young kid, was the opening, hearing the heat is on, and then the neutron dance with the chase, and then how how Axel Foley's just telling he's like, I want. He opens his mouth wide. He's like $5,000. Repeat, $5,000. So. Yeah, that the whole opening segment. I mean, even the super cop part, dude. The super cop part where they were freaking dying every time you look at Judge Reinhold or John Ashton's faces while he's doing that whole bit. They're like freaking, like I said before, they're freaking dying, and it always cracks me up every time I see it. So, I would say those parts. The whole movie, in my opinion, is my favorite. Is just I don't really have a favorite part. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So, in terms of what was the Handy Randy?
1 out of 5 handies. What do you get us out 1 to 5 handies?
5.
So full fist. Score. So full fist.
Yeah, full fist. That's all. That's what it deserves. Deserves the fist.
All right. It deserves the fist.
Which really is just 3 normal fingers.
By the way, Jesse, you look like you're on the set of Star Trek with the lighting situation in your background.
Original Star Trek.
All right,
where's the green?
What was the other score? The
handies, and then toxicity, and then your own personal score of the movie in general.
Okay, toxicity. Well, I mean, Eddie Murphy was pulling the race card a couple times. I mean, especially when he gets into the hotel. Saying they don't let any in here. So, I mean,
they didn't pull that shit either.
Yeah. So, I would, and then he does the whole, the whole gay bit with, Ramon. He's pretending he's Ramon, and Victor has to get tested for herpes simplex 10 or whatever the hell that was that he made up. But the top score for that too. Top score, very toxic.
All right,
and my personal score, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. The life form of the Nerdporials has spoken, and he has given his scores.
That's in my
Now-
first. It's in my first
he
video.
really makes me think though, because I mean, it's a really good thing that when you approach all these young people nowadays, they ain't seeing shit for movies.
No.
No.
If they did, they would throw a fucking shit fit over goddamn everything.
Yeah.
They do when you watch them.
Stop telling young people about old movies. It's not good.
Yep.
They'll just want to go. They'll just want to go and ruin them. They'll just want to go and ruin them. Yeah.
Classic Star Trek is toxic.
Yes, very, very.
Yeah,
toxic.
way too many women.
Captain Kirk flew into space on a giant veiny cock rocket.
Yep.
Suck that, Twitter.
Yeah. Mark D with a C.
After that thought,
Favorite
everyone
scene
makes-
and the scores.
favorite scene. Yeah. Well, everyone's mentioned a bunch of them, but just the opening kind of reminds me of the Blues Brothers with the trucks going crazy and just that's so toxic. And of course, then the cops show up like, oh, figured it would be you, Axel. Undercover screwing things up. So just I love the way he always he's smart in this movie. Like when he gets back to his apartment, he sees that like someone's broken in, even though it turns out to be his buddy. Or in the strip club, he catches the guys that are casing the joint and gonna rob the place. So he's always using his brain, which I really like too. He's not just a total screw up or telling jokes all the time. When the shit hits the fan, he can handle it. So I just love the way he talks his way out of the situations. Like you mentioned, serving the food to the guys on the stakeout or getting into the the country club or into the hotel. So I just love that part of the character. Plus then all the ad libbing and the wise cracks, all the stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So such a quotable movie. And the movie theater was just fun. Seeing that live the first time was just Eddie Murphy was going crazy. Yeah, so a lot. I guess is Handy Randy. That's a good. Like the number of fingers, that's good, or even though his hand is small, if five fingers.
Yeah, anything you want.
Anything you want. So we'll give it the full fist.
You be the judge.
It's that 5-finger death tickle.
I was thinking that's how that band got their name, was from Handy Randy. 5-finger death.
Well, he was the original lead singer.
Yeah, and then toxicity. Jesse, I got to bump my score up. But that was good points you made about there's today you want to make a movie like that, you'd have someone talking about Axel's feelings and how was it coming from Detroit, and you have a horrible upbringing, and they talk about all this
oppression.
And then they have the girl, talking about all the different things that they had to do and human resources and all kinds of bullshit. So so I'll give it an 8 on toxicity. And there's like no flaws in this movie too. It's like the one thing I think Victor would be driving a 560 SEL. He would not be driving the 500. He would have had the full bore Mercedes. Wow. I mean, that's about
2 points off straight away.
That's like a 0.0. That's how good this movie is. There's like someone was saying before, like nothing really takes you out, or there's no scenes that are like, why is that scene in this movie? It doesn't slow down. Like every scene is golden. So I'll give it a 9.6. It loses 0.4 for the 500 SEL. But it's awesome. It's an awesome movie. Yep. Go watch it if you haven't.
Yes,
Guys.
Mr. Grant Gregory, you're prepared to laugh, cry, and maybe crap yourself. Seriously, this has been a panel. This has absolutely been a panel. So check this out, Mr. Grant Gregory, and please don't have your wife or your daughter around either. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. This one.
Well,
Your
maybe
wife or
for
your
the Handy
girlfriend
Randy.
around.
Unless they're really funny.
And
And they like Handy Randy.
what's up, Richard? You're back. Welcome back. All right. Well, that's 70s Rock Fan. You'll get to do the whole favorite and the scores.
All righty. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for moving me in the panel, because I was bumping my head up against that 32 the whole time. It was really painful up in the corner there. And plus, my webcam is now covering Mad's face, so that's quite handy. No, I still can't see you. Well, there you are. That's it. Thanks. Thank you. I can't pick a favorite scene. It's very difficult because this entire movie is one big favorite scene. I don't think it's very easy to pull. The whole thing just fits together so well. I guess if I was forced to, I'd probably like Tom. He mentioned the Bronson Pinchot. Keep calling him Pinochet, but he was a different guy. Bronson Pinchot. scene always sticks in my mind because it was just so funny. And there's something you couldn't get away with now, I think. You know, like a character, Eddie Murphy's character, probably couldn't get away with doing the mocking and the imitating and of that voice or whatever. There would be too many. Oh my God, he's making fun of whatever.
Representation.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, Serge is obviously gay, and he does it so well.
Yeah, so you couldn't do that now. And but in terms of scenes, every time you got Rosewood and Taggart and Axel together, it's always a joy. The three of them just riffing on each other, they're so different. And I think if I was picking any other scene, it'd be Axel getting thrown out of the window, and then the subsequent conversation around what's the fucking charge for getting pushed out of a moving car, huh? Jaywalking? You know, that just sticks in my head every time.
Yep.
What the fuck? And I think if you just took this movie and you distilled it down and you put it in a bottle, you would label it entertainment 100% proof. It has to be one of the most entertaining movies in history.
Yes.
You know, just totally, it's entertaining. There's not a second wasted in it. It's just
there's not. You can't skip. You can't skip a second of this movie. It's one of those movies. Every scene counts. Every moment happened. Every piece of dialogue. It all counts.
Yeah, you couldn't. I mean, it's the whole thing. Just is beautiful. So, in terms of the handy randy scale, I would say I'd give it a full fist and also probably go right up to the elbow.
He had a normal elbow, just to let you know.
But you see, I wouldn't stop there though, and you see, you would go the whole way.
Have you ever seen that? It's like, are you going to die?
So that's a full fist plus elbow for the handy randy scale, whatever the handy randy scale may be. Toxicity, well, funnily enough, everyone here, I'm glad I went last because everybody, and particularly Jesse there, pointed out some of the really great things that make this a toxic movie. Because
I got to listen to everybody else first.
I did, very clever. I have to pay Nick for that, by the way. You have to pay him to get that. So the in terms of toxicity, at first you would think, this is a comedy action. It's not, it's not that toxic. It is very toxic, full of toxic masculinity. That he doesn't give a shit about authority. He badmouths everybody. He swears. They got a strip club. You name it, he's doing it. And give it a 8.5 out of 10 for toxicity, I would say.
All right.
And when it comes to the excellence scale, it's got to be 10 out of 10. This is the perfect movie.
Yep.
The perfect
movie. We got a whole panel full of guys here really anal about movies, right? Nobody can find one problem with this goddamn movie.
I did the women. There was still too many.
Too many women.
Hey, Matt, they didn't say a word other than the one, but it was necessary.
Thank God. Thank God.
Matt, you always miss the girls in the strip club, right? You missed that in the last Boy Scout, right? You counted wrong, right? We had to add women to your total.
I said like when they have a random scene in a strip club because it's just a perfect excuse to show a girl in a G-string with a beautiful ass and nice tits. Everybody likes that.
And you don't need an excuse for that. To me, that doesn't need to be worked into the plot. It just needs. It's there. It's just there.
It just needs to be there. I mean,
it just needs to be there.
When I was younger, when we didn't have titties, I didn't want to watch it.
That's true. Remember Demolition Man? I remember.
The naked chick for no goddamn reason.
No reason. Because they couldn't show Sandra Bullock they couldn't show her goodies. They're like, well, we'll just throw in some random.
Nick, you've ever seen the movie Hot Dog? The skiing movie?
I've not seen Hot Dog.
Have you seen Demolition Man?
Movie.
I love Demolition Man. Love
three seashells. How did they work? Everybody.
I actually know this. So what happens is so you have two in like a chopstick motion, and you pull whatever's left, whatever left out, right? Dump it, and then the third one you do a scooping motion to make sure that you scoop out whatever's left, and then you wash them real good and you put them back there because they are reusable.
Is that really tough for Handy Randy because he's got fingers?
He would have a lot of problems.
You do it all with one hand, bro.
I figured this shit out a long time ago. You want the real answer? This is why.
That's the answer that came from the people that made the movie.
Have you actually tried that, man?
Look, they're buttons. One is a bidet. One is a glow
Bidet.
blow. Yeah, bidet. It's a
Bitty, bitty,
bidet
bitty.
system. Not everybody's going to wipe their ass with the same seashells. That's disgusting.
That's 100%
Oh.
what the people that made the movie said that they are
They need to
used.
think about it.
Ugh.
Why would
Apparently
you
they
laugh
did.
at them? If the seashells are if you're scraping shit off your ass, why would you laugh at them?
It sounds a bit regressive for the future, doesn't it? I mean, you
Right?
think they could have come up with something better.
Guys, y'all can look this up.
There's no
It is. I'm telling the truth.
I gotta.
Oh,
give
I
these
believe
people
you,
an
man.
accurate
I believe
guess.
you are, yeah.
Handy Randy to God, I swear.
Adventures of Handy Randy.
You're like my
So
new
is this.
best friend. You know that, right?
Adventures of Handy Randy.
Well, that's where my friend kept his rag under the toilet. Yeah. so-
Dear God.
Oh, sorry. They're self-cleaning. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
You know,
These
if
words
I,
are
ever meet,
Cleaning up.
if I ever meet Handy Randy in person, I'm going to apologize personally for this stream, and I'll offer to shake on it.
Hey, Nick, when he found the shit rag, did you pick it up with a stick and then just walk into the living room and
That's
whip
what
it
the
in his
Romans
fucking
used-
face?
That's what the Romans did. They had a sponge on a stick, and they left it there for the next person.
That's disgusting.
That's what
But
they did.
I did that in school.
Would you
Like,
carry
it
around
was
a
in
shit
second grade. I
sponge?
asked the teacher. I said, "Well, they didn't have." They were talking about paper. Like, they didn't have paper back then. So, what did they use for toilet paper? Back then? And, she didn't have an answer.
You know, when they found
She's
that,
like,
when
I
they found
don't
that mummified caveman, there was a big debate over what country could claim him. And the reason the country that claimed him was able to is because they found moss in his asshole that was from one region and not another.
The funny thing was, it wasn't him that put it there.
You never know. It could have
Somebody
been aliens, some ancient astronaut theorist.
Moss
believed.
aliens. They were from Moss Eisley.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why not?
Lord.
So, Nick, do you think this stream's gonna stay monetized?
This stream. Well, I'm not on a monetized channel, but
You should be. You're very talented.
Should.
Might
Yeah,
get
thank
monetized
you.
after this.
Right.
thank you. No,
Get a toilet paper sponsor.
I definitely am. I'm getting close to that point. I'm nearing 3,000 watched hours, and
Awesome.
I'm over. I hit over 600 today, thanks to the guy below me. I hit way past 600 today, so thank you, Tom, for that. It's
Nice.
definitely got a lot of new faces too in the chat who not only tuned in, but a lot of them stuck around for a good portion of it too. So that was absolutely killer. So I want to say thank you to all the new faces in the chat, whether you're here for a few minutes or you stuck around for as long as you did. Thank you. Hopefully you come back around, because next week for Toxic Tuesday, we're going to be talking Lethal Weapon 2. So
Oh,
possibly, yeah. We're going to be, yeah.
Diplomatic immunity.
We're
Their best
so
line. You
fine.
can skip it.
Magic immunity.
A lot of people say this
I
is the
have
best Lethal
bad guy
Weapon
tattoo.
2.
Who says that?
A lot of people say the second one's the best one.
It's
We're going to talk
balls
about
out.
debate it.
Honestly,
better.
in my opinion, it's the worst of all of them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like
Isn't-
the
yeah, but
Jet
isn't
Li one
part
a
two the
lot
one
better.
where he has to save him off the shitter?
It is. And that's
Yes.
like between
Come
that
on, man.
between that and Joe Pesci are the best parts of the second film. To me, otherwise the second film is a step down like
Yo,
Die Hard.
this is the one movie series that I can't stand Joe Pesci in. I love
Really?
him and everything else he's done, but nah, he's just annoying grifter.
The third. He's
Yeah, one,
he-
three,
I even
Yeah,
like
so
the
much
Super
better, yeah.
more than him in this movie, and he was.
I
a
mean,
prick.
don't get me wrong, it's not like two's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but
It's
that
still
might
a
make it
good
an
one.
interesting conversation then, because we're
Well, yeah.
not
Now we
necessarily
have
going to be
to.
praising
Now
it.
we have to. No, that's good. We can make this into a nice
Shouldn't all be
debate
about
argument
what
for
we
whoever
love.
wants to come back. We can debate it, discuss it, agree, disagree, and if we end up having some disagreements, it'll get very toxic in here. So it works out.
I will go back and watch it.
I will too.
I think it's better than 3. Come on, man.
I think. See, Claude, let's do it. Come on next week. We'll talk it. We'll discuss and debate it.
You guys aren't doing 1? Just gonna do 2?
We did one.
We did
Oh,
one.
you did one already?
Oh, cool.
We did.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we did one. Yeah.
Yo, a quick question because you guys are
Yes.
movie guys. Better Gary Busey movie, Lethal Weapon 1, or Surviving the Game?
Ooh, that's a
Ooh.
good.
I like
Surviving the game is
but
so
he was so
good.
badass in 1.
All I know about Gary
Josh,
Busey.
Take care,
Gary
Dragon
Busey's
Master.
good at Gary
I only
Busey.
seen Lethal Weapon and
I'll
1. I
see.
haven't seen that other
Six
one.
disagrees. And looks like deleted scenes, aka Mr. Rotten, is all Lethal Weapon 2, so that sounds like we're
You
gonna
ever have
go.
cheese made from the balls of a bear?
Surviving the game, by the
Tommy,
way, is
remember
one we
when,
should do.
Yeah, I need to go back and
I
rewatch
love that
I haven't
movie,
seen it
not
since the
enough
90s.
people
I've not seen Surviving the Game actually, so I guess we're gonna.
Neither have I.
Dude, you were in for
Ice-T,
eight
man. Should I get him on the
Man.
panel?
Yo, the
Ice-T.
cast is awesome. You know, fucking Scrubs, the top doctor, the ginger. He
Yeah,
plays
he's
a
in everything.
psychopath.
He's in everything.
Really?
He's
He was in
fucking nuts in
Platoon.
this movie. Then
Gary
you got
He was
Gary
in
Busey.
Platoon, man.
Is in his
John
own
C.
world.
McGinley. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
McGinley. He's a
He was
good
in
actor.
7.
Anyways, awesome.
That
Anyways,
was awesome.
it's been awesome. Lethal Weapon 2, it's gonna be fun. We will agree, and we're gonna definitely have a lot of disagreements. And when there's disagreements, it's gonna make for a great chat. So please come back next Tuesday. We promise it'll be really ridiculous, and there'll be more handies to go around. Mad is proof of that. He lives up to that. So come back for more of those, and we'll see you all then. And we'll let the fine toxic men on this panel plug away. So we want a nice 70s plug from that 70s rock fan.
Yeah. This is me. I have a channel. That 70s rock fan. That's it.
That's it. No, you got anything coming up in the next few days that you know
I got
about?
some stuff. Well, I just put a video up yesterday,
Nice.
and I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm working on a couple of things. Having an actual job over the summer has restricted me a little bit, but I'm still publishing videos, and I got a couple of things up my sleeve. George and I are talking about something. So,
Do you ever play
Stay tuned.
guitar on videos?
sorry, my friend.
Do you ever play guitar on videos? I see it
No.
behind you.
No, I wouldn't torture anybody with my 4 chords. It's
Best goddamn
I do
songs
make
on
videos
earth are
about
made with
music,
4
though.
chords.
I do make music about videos and science fiction books and the occasional movie thing. So,
All right, killer. Well, thank you, 70s. I appreciate you coming on.
yeah, so
And
thanks for having me.
the
Appreciate it a
pleasure
lot, man.
as always is mine. And you know, obviously, the door's always open for you to come back. And yes, deleted scenes, whenever Surviving the Game happens, I'd be glad to have you on. It's the least I can do for you. I look forward to whenever, wherever, whenever that may be. And now, Mr. Mark D with a C. Plug
it's been
away,
awesome.
sir.
It's been awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me again. Just love being on this panel.
Yeah.
Check out my channel. I do toys, 3D printing, some pop culture. Got a show Sunday night with usually Clobbering Times is there. I should call you the co-host of that, buddy. But yeah, Sunday Night Geekery. And I'm also on with Clobbering Times and Raquel on Thursday night. We might be on tomorrow night, Clobby's Corner. And yeah, just check out my channel. Clubhouse, sorry, yeah. See, it's stream brain.
Different clubbies. There we go.
Yeah. But yeah, just appreciate being on here and appreciate people subbing or taking a look at the channel. And if you like sci-fi and making things, and I've got a new segment, Enabling, where I try to get you to spend money. So I got a couple of new videos out. So try to get you to buy stuff. So toys and things, whatever I see. So just appreciate that, and hopefully I'll be here next week for some more toxic goodness.
Hey, dude, as obviously you've been doing this now with me and Matt for the last month straight, so the door, as per usual, is open. So hopefully you can be around next week. If not, I understand. You've made a lot of time for us. So anyways, thank you. We'll be seeing you soon. And then, of course, my co-host of greatness, he is a magnificent one. He's a mad one. Martigan. He's a mad one.
It's Mad, the Madnevolent one. And
Benevolent one.
Yep. Tomorrow we're starting a new show on our channel. It's going to be MBE Paranormal, where we're going to do a lot of paranormal stuff. And we have a new mailbag section coming back with letters from abductees and what have you. It just depends on who writes in. We could do it's going to be all kinds of different things depending on the week, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. And we have our normal show on Saturday at 3 p.m. Also, I still have some magic tricks that I'm getting ready to film. So putting a D right into magic.
Nice.
Where it belongs.
And you're going to try to locate Handy Randy for us, right?
I will try to find a picture. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Track him down and be your magician's assistant.
Yeah,
Dylan,
like,
you're
I'll just
Dylan.
like sit here and smoke a bowl and do 5 different versions of him if you get a picture.
Look, I will make an
Email
effort
to you.
to find it. But that's it for me, bro.
All right, killer. Hey, Mad. Once again, it's been awesome doing this with you, and I can't wait to cover more toxic flicks. We have.
I'm so glad I forced myself onto this show as a regular.
I'm so glad you did too. It has made Tuesdays something to look forward to every Tuesday. It never gets old. So thank you, and I will look forward to agreeing and disagreeing next week on Lethal Weapon 2. And my buddy returning to Toxic Tuesday after a few months, Mr. Dustin, right over here, can be found at Kettle Simple. Dustin, tell everyone what you got going on your channel.
I got the keto channel. I do recipes and talk about keto shit. And I actually have a new podcast coming out called The Death of Nuance.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we've recorded a few episodes of that. It hasn't launched yet, but we're in the process of getting that out. I've got a co-host. Her name is Abby. So we're doing that, and I still need to get my music channel off the ground too, but a lot of things in the works.
Nice.
You guys will know more once I launch everything.
Awesome, dude. And yes, Dustin, you're what, under 115 to 1,000? Something like that? Under?
Yeah, I've got I'm at like 851 right now.
Ah, badass, dude. Congratulations, man. I'm so happy for you. Keep it going, and soon you're gonna be monetized, man. I can't wait to see you there.
I look forward to it.
Oh, yes. And also, thank you for coming on, and thank you for sending me the message that you were open to come on. And as per usual, you know what you need to do if you want to come on, and I hope to see you again sooner rather than later, whenever, wherever that may be, sir.
I appreciate it so much, man.
Have a great evening. And now for the Nerdporia life form.
Well, what's up? So yeah, I so I have my channel, Nerdporia Lifeform. Right now, I've been doing serial horror sessions where I do series of horror movie reviews. So I have 2 more this season. Psycho is the next one, and the one after that, the season finale, will be The Thing, 1982. So
Very nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So then tomorrow I'm going to be on the Star Wars Guys channel. We're doing Tuesday Night Trek, even though tomorrow's Wednesday. And Thursday I am going to be seeing Dune, and I'm going to have a reaction stream right after that. So it's going to be late. It's going to be like 10:30. So,
ooh, nice, dude.
So I have to kind of, I'm rewatching the David Lynch film right now and trying to get some idea of the lore, so I have something to talk about, to correlate with what I see, So that's what's going on. I'm playing Metroid Dread. I'm streaming that. So yeah, it's been pretty busy, being a YouTuber.
Yeah,
or content creator, whatever the hell I call myself.
Yeah, whatever you
want
to call
a
it.
YouTuber.
Nah, dude. Hey, dude, thank you for coming on, joining. I know I've said to all the other guys, but really, it's awesome because to take time away from your channel to come on and be on this is always appreciated and never forgotten. So
Yeah,
I can't wait to have you back on whenever.
I was at work and I saw your thumbnail saying Beverly Hills Cop. I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm like, I have to come on. So first thing I did was I sent you a message on Discord. I think this morning. So yeah, I was like, that was cool. Thanks for having me on. It was awesome. I enjoyed this. So
absolutely, man. The pleasure's all mine. And then my good friend, who is always destroying things, Mr. Clobberin' Times.
Thanks for having me on, buddy. I love this film, and what a great panel there is here. Appreciate it. Wednesday nights, I do kind of a wild card Wednesday thing. So I don't know. Clubhouse will either be either tomorrow night or Thursday night. Not exactly sure yet. With, of course, which is a show, a new one I just started doing with my wonderful first officer Raquel Briggs and my great chief engineer Mark D with the C. And I guess that's a good enough rank for you, right? You are chief engineer.
I'll take that. I love that. Yep. I got my red shirt.
And thanks, man. And Thursday afternoons, which is something you've been a part of, Nicholas, the Global Geek Gang. So that's 1 p.m. Central for that, 9 p.m. Central for those others, and then of course Saturday Night Star Trek with the wonderful, my aforementioned wonderful First Officer Raquel Briggs, reviewing 4 more episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Having a wonderful time over there and a great crowd and very interactive. We review the episodes and lots and lots of fun, and everyone's just amazing. So, and so are you, brother.
Oh, so dude, hey, the feelings are mutual, and I'm hoping. No, last week I said hopefully I should be good to come on, and then my life got crazy. So now I'm going to say the opposite, and hope that I can up here. So Clubby, I'm absolutely not going to come on. I'm absolutely screwed. It's not going to happen. Now let that be reverse psychology. That I hope that I can make it Thursday.
Hey, man, I hear you. When you can make it, you can make it, buddy. And that's,
wait, what are we going to be on? Whose stream?
It's the Global Geek Gang on the Nick can make it when he can. He wasn't able to make it last week. I think that's what he's referring to.
Yes, I was. All right, Clobbering. So hey.
Just Nick. I get it.
As always.
Hey, Matt, you are invited, buddy. We'd love to have you. In the middle of the day, and anyone here's invited, actually. We'd love to have all of you.
Well, now doesn't feel as special for me.
That's true. I dropped the ball, man. I meant to invite you before that came up, and I just totally.
I feel special.
Oh, I love it. Well, Clobbering, I will talk to you again, I'm sure, within the next few days, whether it's Global Geek Gang or the Comic Shop Talk. As always, we will do this again very, very soon. And now for my good friend, who I've not seen in a while, now we've reunionized today, Mr. Jesse Miller here at the Crow's Nest. Jesse, it is a pleasure to see you again. It was a great way to
back up talking
this movie. This was a hell of a panel.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Yeah. Anything you got to plug?
Yeah, I mean, I do live streams with all my buddies. I invite whoever on. I have to. Well, I dropped the link in the chat, but I'm going to make you show your camera behind closed doors before I let you on now because somebody got me fucking striked for a week over.
Oh shit!
Things, and someone else impersonated Tom and tried to show a cock. But anyway,
what?
Anyway, yeah, shit happens. But like as Tom says, we talk about milk and rotary phones. You never know what the fuck we're going to talk about, but there's a lot of jokes. And when I'm lazy as fuck, I just stream games because it gives me an excuse to play my video games.
I love it.
And if you happen to play anything I play, I'd be glad to level you up in anything. But yeah, join the live streams, have fun. And if not, I'm on Midnight's Edge with Tommy. And it's a good time. That's about it. Not very special. Don't do anything beyond the bar and YouTube.
Yeah, no, awesome. Hey, Jesse, thank you again. And as I said,
for letting me on,
guys,
this was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, this was seriously a blast. This is definitely one of the best ones yet. So look forward to having you back on as soon as I can. And then last but not least, the man of many voices. He could be a Kermit the Frog. He could be a William Shatner. He has about 800 Midnight's Edge channels. He also is the man responsible to, helping me cross 600 subs today, which I thank him very, very, very much for. Mr. Tom Connors. Thank you, sir, and plug away, my friend. This is your time to shine.
Well, I don't know if I can take credit for the whole 2 subscribers I may have brought to your channel, but thank you for that. 'Cause I'm sure most of the hard work was done by yourself, sir. So, no, it's always fun to get to hang out with you guys and talk some toxic films. And you guys do these every Tuesday, and I love listening in when I can. And when I can join in, I love to as well. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, Beverly Hills Cop's one of my favorite movies of all time, so I'm just glad I got to join you on this one. You can check me out on Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark and all those fun places and all that stuff. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely,
it's
man.
Great having you, Tom. And as always, I am available almost every time you stream. Just putting that out
there. Hey, that's how it's done.
Oh, and yes, Punk Waddle, this was a great panel. Thank you for coming out and hanging out. And yes, we will give all the handies. And Peter Spigelski, I hope I pronounced it right. Thank you for subscribing. I saw that. All right, guys, you all have a fantastic evening. This has been good. This has been exquisite. And we're going to cue the music as we close out.